And hello, everybody. How are we doing? Happy, what do they call this day? Sunday? Are we happy it's Sunday or are we sad it's Sunday? I think we should be happy that it's Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Day that ends in Y. Did I? That's pretty funny. No one told me I did that. The fact that my own players didn't realize I did that makes it way cooler that that happened.
Oh, hey, Jason.
You gotta swap around.
I love it when that happens. I'm like, neither Cathar nor Jin told me that I had fucked that one up.
Just thought you should know.
Oh, welcome to Debtors Gambit, everybody. Roselle is still out. She has a very busy work schedule, but she did confirm with me she will be back next Sunday. However, Shannon, next weekend's your birthday, and she will not be with us on her birthday, but that's okay because we're going to put up a picture of Medi sinking her fangs into a birthday cake. I think that would be genius. And we'll have what's the name of the small child she recently feasted on?
Sebastian? I have it written down somewhere.
We've already forgotten.
His name was Dinner.
His name was, well, I tried to make him a snack. He became dinner. And I believe Jin is currently in the process of stuffing pizza into his face hole. if I know anything about Jen, so she'll be with us momentarily. Debtors Gambit, folks, basically is about the origin of the Revelry. We do play 40 to 45 years before season 1 and season 2 of Critical Role. The Revelry does not exist yet. Darktow is still in the hands of the Clovis Conclave, and under the tutelage of the head Marquis. And in this case, the current Marquis that is overseeing everything is a patriarch known as Gregore Von Weis. Gregore Von Weis is the current Marquis of Nicodranus, as well as the pseudo one kind of in charge of the Clovis Conclave as well. Currently, in this timeline that we're in, the Revels haven't really begun as a tradition of rebellion yet. The Revels are actually a secret gathering of the privateers where they celebrate the end of a season, and they celebrate handing out the wealthier contracts to those that, have earned them through favors to the main individual known as Tharivol. Tharivol is the one that kind of is seen as kind of like the pseudo head of all the different guilds and everything going on. Now, this is all common knowledge that our party knows about, but those of you watching, just kind of give you a brief background about the campaign. It is homebrew rules. It is 5e mechanics. I know Shannon is a fan of 5e mechanics when storytellers claim they're going to use 5e mechanics. The overall theme, however, is pirate theme. However, our players are not quite yet pirates yet. They're privateers with jobs on ships. And before we start our recap on where we last left off, let's do a little housekeeping. Shannon, tell us a little bit of something about Ombligo and other projects you got going on.
I can't do that. I was writing notes, or starting to write notes for this session, and then my character sheet just crashed again. So.
Oh, no.
Hi. Love it. Love to see it. D&D Beyond, please help. Other things that I have going on that do not involve D&D Beyond. Ombligo del Diablo. It is a Mage the Ascension 5th edition podcast. It is kind of a story about...
Thanks, Vince.
Not really heroes, but heroic-ish people trying to navigate a morally gray world and stay on the side of good.
Ish.
Adjacent. If you like,
we could call it
darker...
ish. It's okay to call it ish.
Ish. Yeah, if you like darker themed stories with lots of jokes about slushies and some occasional puns and oily snake oil salespeople, you will enjoy that.
I don't know. I'm still digging the opening of the porn star theme. I'm still digging that as a main theme for making money in a new town. I think that's genius.
I thought it was a solid idea, personally, but we do make money at some point.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be a porn star, but Vincent wants to play a stripper named Bubbles, and all of a sudden it's chaos. I rest my case. I
was not allowed to be a porn star, nor did that end up happening. Spoiler alert. But it was a suggestion based on the description of the town. And no porn stars were harmed in the making of this podcast. You can find them with Del Diablo basically where you can find podcasts anywhere, Apple, Spotify, etc. We're about halfway through the first season, and it's a very exciting time to be alive.
Nice.
Oh, and Thursday was our 1-year anniversary.
Yes. And you hit quite the number, over 2,000. That's pretty damn cool. That is pretty damn cool. I'm digging that. And if you want a link, Ombligo has their own panel link down below in the About section. Just click on that. It'll take you right to the Anchor link, and it can then direct you to wherever your favorite listening device is. Cesare, talk about this cool new crazy thing you got on YouTube with your buddies and pals and girlfriends and boyfriends and creatives.
Oh, yes. Well, if you like tabletop RPGs and podcasts and things where people sit around and play games with cameras and such, the General Adventuring Company, or TGAC Pod, Pod, on social media. It's on Instagram, Twitter. The YouTube channel is the General Adventuring Company, as well as Facebook. But yes, it is a D&D 5e. Lots of homebrew. It's a homebrew world. And I play a Dragonborn named Jasper Yondi. And it's a lot of fun. It is a produced episode, so you see us in gameplay, kind of like here, with an overlay and everything, but it is edited and chopped together to make it a little bit more streamlined and timely, so you don't sit through the entire 4 to 5 hours of gameplay. You get the solid chunks of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's super exciting. We actually just launched that this last week, and new episodes of that come out on Tuesdays. And we have a whole talkback series, kind of discussing the episodes after the fact. And we have all these little mini quests as well, where we dive into utilizing other tabletop systems. We just did one with Fate, and we also did one similar to Honey Heist. So yeah, lots of fun
Nice.
stuff. Check it out, and let us know what you think. Join the community.
Yeah, and on that note, we have both Brendan and Vince with us. This is Brendan's in a Brendan was in one of my other campaigns, but his claim to fame is he builds rockets and makes sure that they don't fall out of the sky when they launch up to deliver satellites and Tang to the space station. That's very important. Any cool things going on in Hawthorne coming up?
Starlink's going to be updated to version 1.5.
What does that
starting, I
mean, do you
in a
think?
week or two. So for those that don't know, Starlink is basically satellite internet. And what it's going to do is we finally got enough satellites in to basically cover the entire northern hemisphere, as well as most of the equatorial areas and whatnot. So it's going to streamline it, get them like more like efficient, increase like their bandwidth and stuff like that, from what I understand.
Sweet. 'Cause we could use better bandwidth at the ranch.
Yeah.
Vince.
My Loki movies.
Vince, you got anything going on?
This is it. This is all I have.
Work, girlfriend, and Sunday night D&D. It's all
all-
good, brother. It's all good.
All I have left.
Oh,
I've got nothing left but this.
oh, that's so sad, Vince. It makes me want to buy you cookies and feed you like sweets. This is terrible. This is terrible.
Wait, will that apply to anybody? Because yeah, I mean I could use some cookies and sweets as well. So.
Hey, Chaz, this is my moment to shine. You got your time to plug.
Sorry,
all right,
sorry,
this is my sir. Excuse you.
You go right ahead.
And we all have our own little time slot to plug, and this is my time to get sympathy. What's wrong with you?
And on that note, before we start the recap, we do have shows on Monday, Tuesday. We will have a new show starting Wednesday. More of that to come in the future. That will be a 5e steampunk Cthulhu alt history game. I'm also working on maybe running a game in Cortex. If you haven't seen that yet, that's a new rule set that the D&D Beyond team left to go support. There is, and obviously we have our Discord. Come on over. We ran our first test of the dungeon crawl today. That was interesting. Working on some mechanics and working on building out the tournament bracket for in the future. But yeah, and I just refreshed the dice giveaway channel. We're giving away some steampunk dice. So be sure to join our Discord, jump into the Bring Your Dice channel, roll D1000, and win a chance to win some dice. It's kind of fun. So tonight, let's recap tonight and see if these poor souls, these landlubbers, can figure out where and what to do next. So where we last left off, all of you had, supported Gatharn's effort to earn a little coin during the challenging match. Some of you consumed a snack and had to sneak it off the ship. You got to know Raylene a lot more. Some of you, she attempted to learn more about you intimately, but was rebuffed. However, you had learned from Raylene that the ship that you guys were on was the ship that was captained by Thorvald's brother. With his brother going missing, seemed to create some tension. But meanwhile, Raylene was on her way to the Revels, a secret place where all the privateers meet to celebrate the end of a shipping season that only the most prized of the organization would be aware of. And a couple things begin to happen. Number one, you begin to realize more and more that Raylene's ship is a little bit less privateer, a little less loosey-goosey, and a bit more organized, controlled, and maybe even a bit more smuggler kind of bound, as opposed to being a more traditional privateer bound. You also learned from Raylene that Thorvald has requested that a particular item be brought back from a particular island with very little information. The only information given is it's a small item. It's somewhere in the middle of, which island did I send you guys to, by the way? Did anyone take notes on that?
Barnacle Island.
Barnacle, okay. Because I have like 3 other islands here. I couldn't remember which one I indicated. Sorry. Barnacle Island. And once on Barnacle Island, a beachhead was established. The camp was set up. And all of you began to take what little information you had gathered from Raylene and made your way into this wild undergrowth of a jungle-style terrain. This jungle space that you found yourselves in was not only, well, slightly unforgiving, but very much crowded with some bizarre creatures. From quagmires to frogs to massive turtles walking by to alligators, snakes, vipers, jungle vipers, and just about everything you could run into. You managed to make camp near a section that Gatharn had spotted of the island that seemed to be unusually devoid of the typical jungle greenery, the typical jungle foliage, if you would. Once there, and you guys had camped overnight, taking that long rest, you had discovered through a stay tuned. You had discovered through a series of events that had happened that previous night that definitely something strange, warded, and protected is possibly nearby. And where we last left off, you guys were examining an effigy, a marker, something left behind with a series of almost like kind of just simple slogans describing somebody by the name of Copper Joe. And that's where we last left off. What would you guys like to do?
I'm still sleeping.
Oh, yes, Gatharn is still sleeping. He has not woken up yet.
No, he woke up. He went to investigate, and he got exhausted from doing it. So he went back to sleep.
Captain?
What do you think we should do?
I think we should do whatever you want to do, Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately what time is it?
It's early morning.
It's early morning.
It's 4:30. The sun's just starting to break the horizon.
Whatever Gatharn's muttering in his sleep sounds right.
Gatharn has an internal clock.
Omni would probably like to do a perimeter check for one.
Okay. Give me a perception check really quick.
Yeah, watch out for my traps.
I'm not that great at this, so if I could help somebody else, or if somebody else wanted to help me in the morning.
Oh,
Is anybody else awake?
Captain, go ahead.
I'll help you.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Jen.
I got you.
You're
I
such
got you,
great
family.
support.
I got you. I may play like DPS, but I'm actually a support.
Wow. Okay. So I'm so glad you helped because that first one was a natural 1. Second one was a 19 plus 1, so dirty 20.
Keeping in mind the information that you had gotten from Gatharn in regards to the traps that were set, you do come across a couple of his traps. One was triggered. In the trap is the kind of like the small remains of a tentacle. Looks very strange. At first you thought it was a snake, but coming up on it, it definitely is a tentacle of some sort. It looks like it's been chewed through, and that's all that's left in the actual trap itself.
Hentai averted.
Give me a survival check as well. And 19's pretty high, so go ahead and give me survival with advantage.
Yay, because I'm not good at that either. 8.
8. Yeah, you're not really sure what it was. You kind of poke and prod at it. It's a little squishy. Looking around, you begin to realize that other than the space around the effigy or totem that you found, where a lot of the plants are like dead and definitely not vibrant like the rest of the jungle floor itself seeps. As soon as you and Jen are like walking around, your footprints like disappear into the surface as the moisture seeps in and just immediately fills that space. Following and being aware of things that might have been moving around here, unless they leave a physical item behind, is going to be pretty tough.
Squish. Squish.
Looking around, just trying to figure out
Squish.
which direction to go.
Squish.
How's the cover? The foliage above us? Is the canopy? Are we able to see like the sun for direction easily?
Barely.
This morning?
Yeah, I mean, morning feels more like dusk because of how dense the canopy is.
Okay.
Other than the pathway that you followed, which felt more like a trail that was just being used by creatures and other things traversing the jungle, there doesn't really seem to be much other than the foliage that's like dead and decayed over by where the totem is. But no obvious trail that you can see.
I will go to wake Gatharn and see if he can climb up the trees and get a bearing again, like he did last time.
Okay.
Gatharn. Gatharn.
Bad skull, go away.
I'll slap him. Whoosh.
Who's flirting?
Hey, buddy.
Am I still exhausted?
Did you get a full 8?
Yeah, you're good. We'll say you're good.
How you feeling? How you feeling?
Not getting next to that thing again. That was bad. It's like getting hungover without the pleasure of drinking.
Well,
What's for breakfast?
I found some tentacle over on the side, but we probably shouldn't have that. I'm sure Rizal is gonna fix something up for us. Would you mind hopping up top, climbing up, checking out where our heading is, get us a bearing for the day?
Yeah, so I'll take a... I'm still unaware that the totem has been discharged, so I'm going to take a tree that's a little further away from that. But
Okay.
I'm going to look in the direction where it is.
Give me a perception check for starters.
That is 16.
16. You guys watch as Gatharn picks out a tree that's slightly off away from where the totem is, begins to climb it. Go ahead and give me acrobatics. And while Gatharn is doing this, and Omni seems to be intent on that, Rizal is currently making a breakfast. I will do a series of rolls for her to see if she makes a special kind of breakfast. Jin and Medi, what are you doing with your morning so far?
Acrobatics or athletics?
Up to you, whichever you're more proficient in.
Then 13.
Okay. You struggle a bit with this tree. It's partially because it's not quite as alive as the other trees. You begin to make your way towards the top. It's the taller of the trees that you picked. It's maybe about 20 feet from where the totem is. And as you climb it, you're now watching as the dead space that you're near is a little bit more obvious and slightly kind of like falling in on itself as you're kind of like climbing higher up in this tree. Sorry, Medi and Jen, what are you doing with the morning so far?
Ian's kind of just hanging around and, between everybody and just, Copper Joe, where did you come from? Where did you go? Where'd you come from, Copper Joe? just, just waiting to see what the captain's going to tell us to do next.
Not even mad at it.
Just watching them try to look for a trail and try and struggle a little bit to climb this tree. And no, both of these things are completely within my wheelhouse, but nobody's asked me to do anything, so I'm just watching.
Fair enough. Gatharin, you get to the top of the tree. Looking down, you can see Jen singing a song about Copper Joe. Omni's kind of looking up your kilt while you're making your way up towards the top of the tree. You can see Rozelle's cooking up some of the leftovers of creatures that you guys had recently encountered. Medi, well, she's just hanging out. You get up to the very top of the tree, looking down, looking back in the direction that you came from, looking at the dead space. Give me a survival check, please.
$17.
17. As you look beyond where the totem line is and where that dead space is, you begin to realize it's localized. It seems to be about maybe 1,000 feet across, and maybe continues on for another couple thousand feet. Just this great collapsed, partially collapsed in. The jungles are all, the trees are all rotted and kind of like dried out and kind of sunken in. But around the very peripheral of all that dead space, you can see the vibrant jungle kind of clashing with the gray and browns of this dead space. You can even kind of pick out a little bit the direction that you came in. You get a good sense that you're quite a ways from the beach at this point, but looking at this dead space and across, the island's not really that big. Maybe another day's travel will take you. A day's travel will maybe take you to the other side of the island, depending on what you run into. Most of what slowed you down up to this point was all the creatures and strange things that you were running into to get to this point.
Giant frogs.
Yeah, giant frogs and other scary things that seem to kind of be ambush and predatory like. Other than that, you don't see much else.
All right, I report down of what I see and where I guesstimate the center of this dead zone is.
Okay.
About how far would it be from our current position to get there?
I mean, if you start hacking a trail into the dead zone, you can start trying to figure that out. But for where you are now, it's like being up above it's one thing, but once you're down below trying to figure out what to do, I mean, not really sure 1,000 feet gets you going.
And you said it's about a day's travel to get to the other coast.
Yeah, to get to the
I
other
can
side.
see the other coast?
You can't see it, but you can kind of see where the jungle gets a little thinner, way, way out, within a few miles of your vision, like at the very edge of your vision. Because looking back from where you came from, you begin to realize the way the island's kind of circled and jagged and the density of the jungle. And this is taking you more towards the very center of the jungle. So you get the vibe from that tree position that the coast is maybe another day away. Which would make sense. You came from the coast. It took you almost a day to get here.
All right. So we could probably get to the center by mid-morning.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that far. Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel that far.
So yeah, I shimmy it down and I point to the general direction of the center of the dead zone.
Okay.
Give or take, it'd take us about maybe mid-morning to get there. Depends on when we come across, though. Hopefully, everything in there is dead and not dead.
Undead.
Well.
Yeah, that thing.
We've already determined that there's an undead T-Rex.
That's walking around out here.
But
Let's
you're
hope
hoping
it's
that
not in
they're
there.
you're hoping that the dead zone is not full of the undead. Yeah, me too.
Not gonna lie. Yes, I'm hoping there's no undead there.
Interesting. Well, any objections to tearing down camp and setting off?
Yes, I want breakfast first.
Yes. Okay.
So with
How
that,
about we eat and walk?
Roselle begins to hand out almost like little bento boxes of some of the leftover items that she has kind of put together, done her best to kind of spruce them up a bit. And you guys begin your walk. However, there's not a real specific place to walk. It's a hack and slash environment. You're going to have to clear a path to make your way. Yeah, Medi.
Before I leave, can I just go look at this tentacle? Try to identify what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'm gonna
Absolutely.
gather up my traps.
Okay. And whoever consumes the meal that's been given to them by Roselle, you have 3 temporary hit points.
Does that stack with
Yay.
the temporary hit points we got from yesterday?
Temp hit points don't stack,
No, they don't stack.
unfortunately.
So after the duration of time will pass, those go away, and you can take the new ones.
Okay.
What'd you get there, Medi?
I don't know what I'm rolling.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a survival check. My bad. Thought I had said that. My brain told me I'd said that, but my mouth
Is it
had not done it.
perhaps Fey, Fiend, or Undead related?
No.
Okay.
You definitely pick up on that.
Then that's a 14.
Yeah. Looking at it, a couple things concern you. One, it's definitely the tentacle of a carrion crawler. Probably the largest you've ever seen in your life. Once you pull this thing out of the trap, watching Gatharin kind of collect it, you're looking at this tentacle that's roughly about 12 feet long because you pull the rest of it out of the undergrowth. And yeah, it's a big tentacle. It definitely has the coloration, although slightly different, maybe because it's a jungle version, but it's a carrion crawler tentacle. And I'll say your survival is just barely high enough. Well, actually, give me a nature check. We'll see how much you can figure out how big this thing is based on the size of the tentacle you just found.
30-20.
30-20. For a carrion crawler to have almost a 12-foot long kind of that prodigious facial tentacle feature that it has, it's probably roughly about 20 to 30 feet in length, maybe 10 feet in height, well over 4 or 5 tons.
He's a thick boy. Okay.
You gonna keep that?
Were you trying to eat it?
Pretty sure Roselle can make it a good lunch out of it.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
We had the frog leg,
Well, yeah, that was in the bento box this morning.
and it was tasty.
It's like,
Yeah, you can't carry all 12 feet.
Hey,
No, granted, it's a very thin, like, diameter of a tentacle. It's not like it's a kraken tentacle or anything, but it would, it'd weigh a lot. I mean, you could take a piece of it if you want.
yeah. I look at Roselle and I'm like, which part should I cut out for lunch?
Oh, that's the dead part near the base. It's got more meat.
So I can take that part.
Okay. You hack it off and hand it to her, and she starts kind of wrapping it, stuffing it in her bag.
And finish collecting the rest of my chaps.
Okay. So what's the
Anything to
plan?
avoid eating the dry rations.
I mean, at this point, the only thing you got to operate off is the direction that Gatharn has identified, the totem, but no obvious path at this point.
Was there a marker on the totem besides the
There was
writing?
there was a skull with kind of like part of the lower effigy broken off. It's a stone totem, stone representation. Has the
Which way
writing
is the
on it.
skull facing?
Is facing the direction that you came from.
All right, so I figure the direction it's not facing is the direction they don't want us going. And does that seem to be close to the center of the dead zone?
Seems to be in the direction, yeah.
Nope. Once I'm ready to go, I just go get my axes ready to start chopping through underbrush.
Okay. You guys watch as Gatharn starts hacking through the underbrush alongside the totem, making his way deeper into the dead zone. Go ahead and give me athletics really quick, Gatharn.
I also pee on the totem.
Does that make it yours?
It's a little revenge for yesterday. 21.
21. You guys are watching as Gatharn is making a 2-foot wide pathway for you to begin to follow him through.
You're going to have to crawl, though, because I'm only 3'2".
I'll follow up behind him, cutting
Okay.
away the higher parts for everyone else.
Okay, give me athletics with advantage because Gatharn is kind of leading the bowling ball approach to this.
Athletics. Oh, nice. 19.
19. With that, you guys watch as Omni, they begin to kind of hack away at the top of the portion that Gatharn is revealing, and Roselle quickly follows behind Omni, who's following up behind Omni at this point. Medi?
Can I assist in the hacking with green flame blade? Just yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll definitely improve the amount of space that you can kind of create for all of you as you begin to make your way through this point. So we'll say Medi, you're after Roselle. Jin, you taking up the rear?
I get a water skin ready
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
in case the fire starts, the green flame blade starts catching things on fire.
You're a very simple person, Gatharn.
I figured dead brush and fire, they go together.
I don't think it's that kind of fire, but okay.
I don't know. It's on fire. It's green. It burns.
I have
And roasted hot dog on it.
create and destroy water as well. So
Okay. So you guys are
We'll be
beginning
good.
this first part of your directional march towards the area that Gatharn had described. This could take a couple hours to get there. The foliage is pretty dense. The undergrowth is pretty thick. Everybody make perception checks for me, please.
no.
Natural 20. So 24.
24.
Solid 14.
15.
The one thing, what'd you get there, Jin?
11.
11. I'll say as an average, not horrible, not terrible. The one thing that you notice is the lack of living sounds. That's a bit strange. There is also oh yeah, I forgot to do that, guys. Sorry. One of the things too, guys, tonight, if you put in exclamation dice in the chat, you can win a chance to win some dice.
Oh heck yeah.
Sorry, I've lost my dwarves, my will, and my way. So with that, you guys are beginning to hack through, make your way through. It's dense. The one noticeable thing based on those perception rolls is the lack of life. Everything here is dry, brittle. Your feet no longer squelching in the kind of jungle-like surface of the ground. There's virtually no moisture here whatsoever. It's very dry. It's dusty, even to the point where the things that you're hacking into just give off a lot of dust and debris floating through the air. No distinct sounds of wildlife. In fact, coming from where you were, it's already 30 minutes into this effort, and the last thing you remember is the sound of wildlife from the direction that you came from. After 30 minutes of making your way through here, Gatharn, give me fresh athletics or athletics for keeping the path open. Omni, go ahead and give me a fresh check as well with advantage because Gatharn is leading the way.
21.
Okay. Medi, go ahead and give me athletics as well.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good roll, 16.
Yeah, you guys are working in pretty good tandem here. You're opening the space, creating the path. The dead foliage gives away very simply. It gives away quite easy. At one point, you get to a point where the ground begins to kind of fall down slightly. The elevation lessens. You're no longer going on a flat surface, but you're finding yourself making your way now down almost as if you're on your way towards like a sinkhole or something that has naturally given way. You follow for another 10, 15, 20 minutes. The canopy above is now leaning in and covering. The trees are brittle and kind of coming in as well. And just like that, Gatharn, you clear away some foliage, and there is a stone door leaning down into like a collapsed depression of the space around you. And this space around you is just dead foliage kind of gathered and stacked on each other. The door is stone. There is a pirate's emblem of warning on the front of the stone door. The door itself is maybe 4 feet tall by 2 feet wide. It seems to be heavily placed into the rock surface that is collapsing in on itself, almost like I don't know if anyone knows what a cairn is, but kind of like a cairn where a series of stones are all stacked together and there's like an emblem, but it's all collapsed in on itself, like maybe over time with the soil erosion. Yeah, I mean, it feels to you, Gatharn, as you begin to clear it all away, like it could be a tomb, some kind of burial entrance at this point. The rest of you kind of stop clearing the space. All 5 of you stop at this point. There's still heavy thickets and coverage around you as well, but looking at this, you can see what I just described for Gatharn.
Well, do we
Pretty
think
sure
this
it's
is
in
it?
there. I say we go back to the ship and give her a map.
Pretty sure that we are meant to be delivery boys, not messenger boys.
Delivery people.
Yes, I know.
There's gonna be some magic bread.
Honestly, Captain, it's this time. It's an enlightened age. We should really try to be more inclusive on the ship.
Well, that was more of a green ogre reference. I'm no one's messenger boy. I'm a delivery boy. Never mind. It was a Shrek joke.
Is that a play?
Yes.
You have a
yes.
ogre friend named Shrek?
Yes,
You have a friend that's an ogre? You are
yes,
enlightened. See,
it
guys?
was a bard at the time. Another ship, another time. Anyways.
He was very much like a yogurt party.
He has a lot of friends.
Many layers.
You know what, Medi?
Watch yourself. Yeah.
That is
Rude. Uncalled
astute
for.
and, possibly justified, but I do believe that some people like me, as we
I
are.
like you, Captain. Yes, as you are.
They
Um,
really, really like me.
Anyways, well, how do you all
Uh,
think we should proceed?
I just told you.
I
We
mean,
go back and we give her the maps.
How old does this appear to be? This situation we got in front of us.
Give me a survival check.
Survival, you say. Why do I lose skills every time? I need to look for it. Okay, survival. Type.
Especially when they're in alphabetical order. It's a
I
real
know.
conundrum.
It's dumb, right? 10. Very good.
10. The only thing
16.
the only thing that really sticks to mind is the fact that no one else has been here for a very long time. The pathway that you've cleared and the debris that you've cleared to get to this point, you get the sense that this is old. This place is old. You're just not really sure how old.
Do I recognize the emblem?
Give me a history check.
15.
15. Not really. It is a skull with 3 inverted femur bones and then an inverted smaller skull at the bottom of it.
Anyways, should we start digging?
How big is the carving in there?
Maybe about 2 feet in height, foot in width. It's a relief. It's sitting, so the stone door itself, and then it sits about 2 to 3 inches off the surface of that stone door.
I don't have paper to do a rubbing.
Oh, Gathan, you could always do for a good rubbing.
For that kind of rubbing, I don't need paper. Just lube.
Oh,
You
there
don't
goes
use
our
paper,
there goes our
paper
first
cuts.
copyright strike for sure. So what are you guys doing?
Is there
Well,
anything
we're
else
talking
in the
about
area?
the slip
Just
and
like this
slide.
door? What's around?
Give me an investigation check.
Awful roll, 15.
15. Looking at the door, there are some etchings in the sections, like the bottom section of the door and near the center of the top of the door. There does seem to be some etchings on the relief of the skull and inverted skull crossbone kind of set up in the front of the door. On either side of the door are just heavy, heavy stones that are stacked and stacked and stacked as if something is, was meant to be like some kind of mound of stones that over time has just kind of collapsed in on itself. Maybe about 10, 12 feet tall. Maybe as you look to the right, it goes into the foliage about 2 to 4 feet to your right, 2 to 4 feet to your left. So it could be bigger if you decide to clear more of the thicket away and the undergrowth.
There she is. She's back. All right, so I
So-
propose we start clearing this away. I'll get out my shovel from my explorer's pack. We just want to get back to like the boat and the water as quickly as possible. We don't like being on land like this.
Fair enough. I mean, Gatharin's just standing there in his kilt. gave his impression. Omni, you're gonna start trying to dig, or what are you trying to do? Oh, we lost her.
And she's
Arg.
back.
Magic.
She's back.
Is she? Oh, it might be on my side then. Hold on.
Is
Oh,
it still
there
messed
she
up?
goes.
No, she's there.
There she is.
Yeah, reload.
Reload.
Since I do not have a shovel, I will help my captain by using my hands. I'll just get my hands dirty.
Okay. Where are you attempting to dig?
Omni adjacent. I don't want his shovel to accidentally hit my knuckles.
Adjacent to everything.
So
Yeah, if you're ever curious of where Jin is, either to the left or right of Omni is fine.
Omni, go ahead and give me a athletics check as you begin to dig near the door entrance at this point.
Okay. That would be an 18.
18. Looking as you kind of like dig and move some of the sand and dirt and dried jungle decay out of the way, you begin to, dig and dig. You get down about a foot as Jin's kind of clearing out with his hands, and you're digging and digging, and then you hit stone surface. Just the shovel kind of vibrates in your hand as you hit a stone surface.
Is there a dead tree around? Like a dead sapling or something like that?
There's lots of dead trees around.
So I'm gonna start inspecting them.
Okay.
Trying to see which ones would be sturdy enough to function as a lever.
Give me an investigation check.
I'm gonna try and see what it is that start clearing away what I just ran into, what I just hit with the shovel.
Okay.
19.
You and Jin begin to clear away the soil. Tharn, you're trying to find a sapling are you trying to find one that's like strong enough or to use as like a fulcrum lever or something?
Well, what I'm planning on doing is climbing up the cairn, and on the door rock, use a sapling or some branch or whatnot, like a sturdy piece of wood,
Okay.
to hoist in there, and then just kind of push it up so that the top of the stone goes falling forward.
Vince is like,
I'm just watching these guys dig because it's funny.
Actually works. Thanks, guys. You
My part of the room gets into Shannon's box.
What did you just say? Could you say that again?
Nope.
Nope. I refuse. We will scrub this from the interwebs.
The interwebs. So with that, Gatharn, unfortunately, did you roll already? What was your investigation check on that? 16? 19. You do find plenty that you think are at first strong enough, but then the concern becomes dry. They're like dry and brittle and kind of crack in your hands. And nothing seems like it could be quite strong enough to, be used as a leverage. You get the feeling they'll just snap and crack under the weight of being so dry.
Okay, then I'll climb up to the top of the rock.
Okay. So go ahead and give
I'll
me
dig out.
give me athletics on that. Omni, as you begin to spread and move more of the dirt and debris and everything out of the way, it seems to be a series of stone surfaces that just continue on and on. It's like you have to dig. There's more stone. You have to dig. It's more stone. You begin to feel like you're standing, on soil that maybe a foot below it is just stone, bedrock stone.
12.
Okay. You hear like a sound coming from the side of the cairn as Gatharn is trying to scale it, and you watch as the stones that he's scaling collapse underneath his weight, and he disappears into the interior of the cairn, debris kind of spilling out and up, and then Gatharn, take 4 points of falling damage as you've collapsed to the interior of the entry point of the cairn.
I meant to do that. Knew it was going to happen the entire time.
Well done, Gathon. You found the entrance.
Falling with style.
Very
Are
true
you all
there.
right? Are you all right down there? How far of a drop was it?
It's hard to tell because, I mean, the cairn went up about 10 feet, about 8 feet up. It just collapsed underneath his weight. You watch as the door kind of shifts again. Some of the stones begin to fall down, dirt and debris.
I'm looking around.
Okay, give me a perception check. It's pretty dark.
I am dark vision. That's 20.
20.
Dirty 20.
You guys can hear Gatharn on the other side. Even Rozelle's like, Gatharn, you okay? And then obviously you can hear him kind of searching around. Gatharn, looking around in this space, you're now in the interior of the cairn. You can actually see the backside of the stone door facing the other direction. The one thing that you pick up on is something very heavy and metallic is under your foot. You look down, there is a 5 foot by 10 foot, almost like metal door that you're currently standing on. Very heavily rusted, like it's been here a long time.
I'm going to burn magic awareness.
Okay.
So anything that's magical within 60 feet of me, I can detect.
Okay. The
As
door,
long as it isn't behind total cover.
right. The door is very effervescent in a blue-white light.
We got a magic door.
Great.
Did he say he has a phallic whore?
That's back on the ship.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's on
Well,
his tip?
that is probably the direction that we need to be going then.
Towards the phallic whore?
Yes.
Back to the ship then.
No, towards the magic door.
Magic door. Whatever you say,
Is he
Captain.
able to tell what kind of magic it is? Oh, look, I'm back to almost normal.
Yeah,
There we
one
go.
of these,
I was super off, so if you're reframing it for me to be like in the center of the camera again, that's slightly, yeah, quite different.
This is my
I
leaf.
was like leaning down to this corner over here, so.
This leaf. It's a beautiful leaf.
Yeah, was he able to distinguish what kind of
Gatharn,
magic it is?
give me an Arcana check, really quick.
That is a dirty 20.
320. You're not an expert when it comes to Arcana nature, but you get the vibe that it is definitely kind of, well, maybe an enchantment of sorts. Possibly.
And Raylene was saying that the item we're looking for has a heavy enchantment on it.
Possibly.
Well, I don't. We
Is
don't
there
think
any
that
writing on the door?
Yeah, the door is the item. It might be behind it though.
Brandon moves his chair. I mean, for everybody else outside the cairn, I mean, you can see the hole that's been left behind. Roselle begins to climb up and try to look in. Gatharn, you see Roselle's goblin face as she kind of pokes in to see what you're doing. You're standing nearby the door. Give me an investigation check of the door itself.
I didn't. That would be a 10.
10.
I thought I was proficient in that one.
Yeah, as you examine it, there's nothing overtly obvious about the nature of the door itself. There are a series of glyphs and kind of etchings and scrawls on the edge of the door. You can see a massive kind of like skull like effigy in the very center of the door. There does seem to be like a seam that's cut down the middle of the door.
Am I bleeding?
Do you want to be? I was thinking more contusions and bruises.
Yeah. Have a little bit of like blood dribble on the door.
Okay, a little bit of, nothing happens. Just kind of dribbles onto the door itself.
Well, that did nothing.
What are the rest of you doing?
Hey, Jason, is my video back for you? Because it's back.
Oh, it is not. Let me double check. Oh, there it is. Now it is.
Oh,
It has.
Hey, now I'm
There.
gone. And so is Fez. All for one person. Yay. Good for you, Fez.
I was wondering why he wasn't sliding it back because it came back like 5 to 7 minutes ago, and then he started adjusting your stuff, and I was like,
Because it's obviously the Jin and Omni show.
I mean,
no,
maybe it is.
the problem was when you use the pop out feature for Discord, sometimes it won't refresh someone else's camera until you redo the pop out. There we go. Everybody's back. Yay! Did you hear all that stuff, Medi?
Yeah, I've
Okay,
not
cool.
been able to hear you.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were back yet or not because I hadn't heard from you. So at this point, Gatharn's in the Karn. Rozelle's beginning to climb up over and look down inside. Gatharn's describing a metal door that he's found. Omni and Jin have dug into the ground and realized that they're more on like a stony ground covered with debris and leftover debris and Tetris. What are you guys doing?
I try to climb down to where Gatharn is.
Yeah, give me acrobatics.
Same.
Okay.
Should we have Roselle stay out and watch?
Oh, I
Keep
could
watch?
if you want me to. I could stay right here in the con and keep an eye on things.
I guess I should be able to pull up Roselle's info and see what their perception is like.
What'd you get, Maddie?
Things that I'm good at, I'm rolling garbage on. So 14.
14. That's good enough. You can already see where it's collapsed in from where Gatharn went in, and you kind of land awkwardly on the inside of the Karn, and you can now see the metal door on the ground. Nothing else seems to be in this space. You seem to be on the interior of the space. You're on the back side of the door. You watch as the shadow of Roselle kind of shifts to move to the higher portion of the Karn. You can then see
Roselle's got like a +9 to perception, so she's definitely staying outside.
Yep, she'll stay on watch. Omni, what'd you roll for athletics or acrobatics?
Acrobatics. Let me pull that up real quick. Sorry. 17.
17. Following Medi into the interior of the Karn, you make your way up the side of it, through the hole, down inside as well. Jin, what are you doing?
I will follow my captain.
Okay, give me acrobatics, please.
11.
11. As you get near the edge of the opening, the last bit of the loose Karn stones kind of give way underneath you. As the three of you are kind of there examining the door, you just watch as the form of Jin kind of falls into the space, taking
to the side.
Taking 2 points of falling damage.
I point to the after I'm closer to the wall now, to the glyphs and writing that I found on the door.
Okay.
Can Jin try to decipher what's on the door?
Yeah, give me a history check, please.
Ooh. I didn't go to college. I will use knowledge from a past life. 22.
22. You actually realize that whether it's just been here so long and maybe debris and other things have collected in the edges of the writing, a couple of the letters feel like common to you. So you begin to rub at the wording, and then the dirt and the soil kind of break free of the etching. You begin to realize, oh, it's a riddle.
Hey guys, it's a riddle.
What does it say?
It says. Hold on 1 second here. Jin takes out like little tiny spectacles out of his shirt pocket.
It says the following.
It says the following.
Many have heard me,
Many have heard me,
yet nobody has seen me.
yet nobody has seen me.
I won't speak back unless spoken to.
I won't speak back unless spoken to.
What am I?
What am I? I'm Jin, dummy.
Echo.
What'd you say?
Echo.
You watch as the doors begin to lift up and open
Ah,
up,
hell.
and there is a series of stone stairs leading downwards into the dark.
Oh, this
I'll
can
look-
only be good news.
I'll look over and say, "Well done, Medi."
Was I not supposed to say this? Was I supposed to let everybody have a try first?
No, that was perfect.
Yep, I'm just kind of stuck behind the door at the moment.
You guys can see Gathar. I was standing on the door. Ow.
Oh, that sucks, buddy. And I'll walk down the staircase.
You got one. Jin begins to walk down.
I'll help get Tharn up and then follow.
Okay. Omni and Gatharn heading down behind Jin. Medi, you following down?
Oh, there's her internet. Oh, so attractive.
I
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
I yell for Roselle to throw down a couple of those branches.
Okay. She throws down a couple of sapling branches.
Oh, this is Tomb of Annihilation style. We need a 10-foot pole.
Oh no. Got a torchlight. Did you guys bring torches?
I can
I
see
just-
in the dark.
Let me see. Do I have? Yes, I do have a torch.
As soon as Omni whips out a torch, I do the thing where like if a gentleman would flip out his lighter and cast prestidigitation to light it for him.
You could light stuff with prestidigitation?
I hope
Yep.
so. Or not, I sound like a fool.
Well, I mean, he creates like a very tiny flame on the very tip of his unimpressive finger.
Yeah, you instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire. Don't,
Yeah.
man, you had me questioning my smell.
Nice. That's awesome. That's good.
And
I was just gonna firebolt it if we didn't have a way to light it, but we
And this-
we have like the whole like the flint stick type thing.
Yeah.
And the stairwell's not very wide. I mean, not only is it not very wide, but it seems to like kind of corkscrew down. The initial entrance is quite big, and then all of a sudden gets very small, and it's big enough for one of you at a time to kind of traverse, and it begins to wind downwards. Yes, Medi.
Question: how tight is the spiral?
It's maybe 2 feet across.
Pretty sick, bro.
It's
pretty
like
tight, bro.
so
All you medium-sized people are having
stairs themselves are like 2 feet across, and then how is there any opening in the middle?
No, there's no opening in the middle at all. It's
So
almost
it's
like
just
these
like a
stones.
corkscrew.
Yeah, it's like these stones were just
So there's
placed
like
to
a
get you.
column in the middle.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
How high up is it?
What was that motion again, Shannon? Real quick.
Shut up. How high up is the ceiling?
As you guys step into the space looking up, it's as high as the entrance of the cairn, or the entrance of the doors that you just came through. So it seems to like start at that point, and then you're descending down and down.
Got it.
Well, nothing
I'm
ever
just
bad
gonna-
came from a giant, tiny little staircase descending down into a lair.
My thought process as well. I'm gonna just walk on the
I felt like I
wall.
wasted 6 months of my
Oh.
life going down a staircase like this before.
and try to, look for traps.
Give me
from
investigation.
frames.
Yep.
Okay.
Give me investigation.
Wait, so does Medi just try to like? Oop, excuse me.
Just
Excuse me
literally
from
just
the
walk
from
up
the
on the
rear.
Yeah.
Just from the rear.
Yep.
Just like, oh, excuse
She's
me.
like,
oh.
she's literally having to crawl over your shoulders.
Excuse me, sorry.
Hey, no cutting in line.
Look, you can go first, but I'm just saying that I have a few very specific skills, and this is one of them. But by all means, if you want to go face first into a potential trap.
Literally.
Jin,
look
this
back-
is
With stop.
I look
this
back
is
at
what she's
Omni.
good at. This is what she's good at,
Yeah.
and many other things. But
This is all she's good at.
Hey.
Aw.
Nothing. Okay, go ahead.
and
you
Shin,
say
what
good.
have we told you about respecting your coworkers?
Don't.
No, that is incorrect.
We'll pull up my personnel file. Then I never got a letter of warning.
All
That's
You
right.
not
know, we
true.
can discuss this with HR.
We will. I'm filing a formal
Ship
complaint
over
against
sailing.
everybody.
Hobgoblin resources.
Yep.
What did you get, Betty?
18.
18. There are a series of metallic plates in the column that the stairs are attached to. They definitely look suspicious. Looking back at the initial entry point that all of you have taken, it's only by blind luck and horrible DM rolling that you had not triggered the collapse of the staircase.
Into like a slide situation.
Maybe.
No, as into.
Oh hell yeah! I'm gonna start tap dancing down these steps.
That would have been fun.
I was
Just
hoping
slide
one of
on
you guys
down.
had a shield I could use as a sled.
If I could, if I could point out the trap to y'all. Hey, look, there's a trap.
It's an Irish person from the country.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. That's what happens when I don't even get to tell you about the trap that I found with my eyeballs.
Be thankful, peasants.
Is it avoidable or does it need to be disarmed?
It looks like it might be related to a series of pressure plates that you've avoided inadvertently up to this point. You watch as Medi kind of runs her hand down the column towards one of the stairs, and there's a thin pressure plate that goes across the 2-foot section of the stair. If you step on that, it would definitely trigger the trap. Disarming it looks very complex from Medi's perspective. Maybe avoiding it might be the best option.
All right, let's try and do that. Let's try and get down past it without
Yeah, I
triggering it.
could give it a go, but I think it would be easier. Just
Poor Shannon and her internets tonight.
I think Medi might be an interdimensional being. She keeps shifting in and out of this dimension and the next one.
Dalb said that we should avoid it. I'm hearing
Ooh.
saying most.
Oh, she blinking. She got that third level spell. She blinking.
As-
Ethereal
as
realm now.
Seeing you guys
So-
move.
So at this point, allowing Medi to get in front to be able to do that, Medi's in front of Jin. So it's Medi, Jin. Who's behind Jin at this point? Omni or Gatharn?
Omni.
Omni, and then
Omni.
Gatharn. Yeah, you're kind of bringing up the rear. Avoiding it is rather easier now that you've seen it. Making your way 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 60 feet, 80 feet. Those of you that have, does anyone have proficiency in survival?
I do.
So Gatharn, give me a survival roll.
Dirty 20.
You're almost below the waterline. You're almost below sea level. And now it's getting a little bit more damp, a little bit more humid, a little bit more, it's getting, the stones are getting a little bit more slick. About at the 150 foot mark, all of you step off into a small kind of like roundish room that kind of matches the stairwell kind of concluding here. And it's completely round around you, completely round. There are a series of skulls placed. There's like 5 of them. And there seems to be more common written here as well.
5 skulls?
5 skulls about 6 feet in height, maybe about 4 feet in width. The mouths appear closed, the eyes sunken in, just kind of these skull-like reliefs, 5 of them. And there seems to be...
Oh, not actual skulls. I was like, those are
like stone.
giant.
Yeah, no, like stone reliefs.
Gotcha, okay.
We'll try to read the common.
So you go to read the first one, and it says, sounds like another riddle. It says,
it looks like it's another riddle.
What is not alive,
What is not alive,
but grows,
but grows,
does not breathe, but
does not breathe,
but needs air.
but needs air.
Fire.
As you say that, the skull that it's near goes, turns completely inverted so that it's upside down.
Ooh, good job, Captain. 1 for Medi, 1 for Captain. I go to the second skull.
Carefully positioning myself behind them in the event they answer wrong.
Okay, you move over to the next skull. There's a
Awesome.
series of common words and lettering here as well. It says, I build castles, yet I tear down mountains. I make some men blind and others see. What am I?
Fine. Jin?
Sorry, I
We
wasn't paying
got
attention. I
ours.
was
We
making sure I wasn't gonna get shot by an
Oh,
arrow.
well, my grandmother used to tell me, like, if I played with it too much, I would turn blind, but I don't I don't
Okay.
think this is the answer
Okay.
here.
No. Did you have any other ideas?
I build castles, yet tear down mountains. I make some men blind and others see. What am I?
This is... You know what? When I used to take tests, they tell me to come back to the difficult ones, so let's just try the next goal, see what it says. So I'll go to the next goal.
Okay, shift over to the next one. It's quite long. It's another, same exact skull as the first one, but there's a series of common lettering alongside of it. And it says, as I was going to Nicodranus, I met a man with 7 wives. Each wife had 7 kids. Each kid had 7 cats. Each cat had 7 kittens. How many were going to Nicodranus?
I peek out behind Omni and go, 1.
You watch as a skull inverts itself.
Okay.
Well done, Githard.
And then, is there...
I was
How many
right.
skulls are there?
There
5.
are 3 left. 2 have been triggered.
Okay.
There are 3 left.
I will take a step back towards the one that we didn't get,
Okay.
and I'll reread it.
Okay. It says, I build castles, yet tear down mountains. Make some men blind, yet make others see. What am I?
Build castles, tear down mountains.
Hey, not
Sand.
every... What'd you say?
Sand?
Okay.
It inverts. You now have 3 inverted skulls and 2 that are not.
See, this is what
Wait.
my grandmother was talking about. Like, if you played with sand too much on the shore and you got
So-
it into your eyes, you'll go blind.
Hold on, I'm curious as to how it makes some people see. Like the sands of
Glasses.
time?
Yes.
Glasses.
Sands of time, okay.
Oh, I thought it was
Awareness,
glasses because you can make sand
retrospect.
into glasses.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Sand is glass.
We also don't know
so
if an
there's
inverted skull is a good thing or not.
so there's 2 more, right?
Oh, god darn, don't be such a little sad,
We're
Sally.
just assuming that they're all locks, so we'll go up to the next one and try and read it.
Okay. It says, "What is so fragile that even speaking its name will break it?"
Silence.
Ooh, the
Skull
captain has 2 guys.
inserts. There's a final skull that's not inverted.
Looks like you can only
Kids
manage to
ego.
tie Medi. And I'll go and read the last skull.
Okay.
Maybe if I could hear them, I would be doing better.
And the final one says, "What must you give me in order to keep it?"
What must you give me in order to keep it?
Mm-hmm.
A secret.
All the skulls. The room fills up with just numerous darts. Start ricocheting around the room. All the skulls go back to normal. Everybody make a dex save, please.
Oh man.
I jump in front of Omni.
Already behind Omni.
Secret Service style. I jump in front of him, taking everything.
I think that's
Ooh.
19. Yeah, 19.
Oh, that's not good. That is not good. 12.
15.
Actually, I have advantage on
Yeah.
that, so it might be higher.
What'd you get, Maddie?
24.
Nice. You will save.
Damn.
What'd you get, Gatharn?
21.
21. So as the room fills up with these ricocheting darts and all the skulls go back in place, if you rolled an 18 or higher, you saved. So you will take half of 22 points of piercing damage.
Yay.
Those of you that did
Oh,
not,
that.
take 22 points of piercing damage. All the skulls revert back, and as they revert back, all the common wording changes as new clues reveal themselves. And there's an echoey laugh.
Well, that's not menacing or concerning at all.
You think that's Copper Joe?
Maybe. Okay, so
More like Chuckles Joe, you know?
Chuckles show.
so
That's
we answered correctly for all of them.
You assume we answered correctly.
As I'm starting to pull darts out of my body. Gatharn has a point there, Captain. Like, like you see no blood as Jin's pulling out these darts.
Can these darts be reused?
Maybe.
Oh, here you go, buddy. If you can, here.
You could give me a sleight of hand check really quick, Cathard. See how many you collect.
That is a 19.
Yeah, you collect 24 of the darts. Most of them seem to shatter upon ricocheting on the interior of the space.
I will cast Armor of Agathis on myself.
Okay.
Alrighty. You ready for another go, Captain?
Chesray has distinct PTSD on his face.
No. I was looking to
I
see. I was looking to see if we had a long rest because I didn't reset my total hit points.
Yeah, you had a long rest
prior this morning, so I need to go through and put that back up to max, and then minus 22.
Okay.
Because that was pretty rough, actually. There we go. Now I'm at the proper.
And plus, you have the 3 temporary hit points from Roselle.
Right.
Only 19 points of damage.
Gotcha.
Right. So,
next series of words in common still?
they are still in common, but they've changed as well. So
do we think we have to go somewhere in a particular direction of one of these? Or they seem like they might be doors that open up?
Give me an investigation check.
It might just be tiers of riddles.
But why did he hurt us if we passed the first one? Chuckle Joe is not a good man.
Investigation. 13.
Right.
It's hard to know for sure, but you feel pretty certain that the first answers were correct. You get the feeling that this fifth one was more of a completion of almost like a locking mechanism. I mean, the overall design of this space seems to be taking you down very deeply at this point. You're definitely below sea level, as Gatharin has mentioned as well. These skulls feel like tumblers almost as if they're designed to unlock something. You were on the last skull, and perhaps maybe not getting that one correct caused all the other ones to reset. And within their reset process, new riddles begin to appear.
My
Okay.
bad.
Do we need to roll like an insight to see if we feel like we know which one was incorrect? Did you say the last one?
Yeah, you definitely get the feeling the last one must have been the incorrect one. You get that vibe because its behavior was
Okay.
totally different.
And Jin, what did you say that was? Sand?
Secret.
Secret. Okay, so well, that particular door itself will kind of make note of. Is that still the same riddle, or did that one change too?
No, that one changed as well.
They
There
all
she
changed,
goes.
didn't they?
You see,
Okay.
Jen just claps his hands again. He's like, a promise. You got to give a promise in order for it to be kept. I mean, a secret too, technically, but I guess it's not very modular. This riddle. It's very got a very defined set of viable answers.
Okay. Let's go through. Let's
So
go through
what we're
these
saying
again.
is all of us except for Jen are smart.
Yeah.
Ben's like,
That's
Okay,
fair, Qatar.
let's start from the top.
okay. So heading your way back to the original skull that you started with, there's a new riddle that has appeared. Tall, I am young. Short, I am old. While with life I glow. Wind is my foe. What am I?
I see Medi has a smirk on her face. I'm like, what are you holding out on?
That's more of a pixelation.
No, that's an obvious smirk. She's smirking. That's a knowing smirk. So I
Medi,
asked
do you
Medi.
know?
Just
Well, I heard the first sentence and I was like, I recognize the first sentence, and then the rest left. So,
All right. Tall, I am young. Short, I am old. While with life I glow, wind is my foe. What am I?
handle.
The skull inverts.
Handle. I was hearing handle. I'm like,
Handle.
handle?
Yes.
I may be dumb, but at least I'm not deaf.
What? What was that?
What?
All right, next one.
You guys shift over to the next skull. What goes round and round the wood, but never goes in the wood?
What goes round and round the wood, but never in the wood? I really don't want to get shot right now.
You're assuming that's the failure for this skull.
Shoot.
Well, yeah.
While
I mean, I
Gatharin
haven't
is
had
slowly
any
creeping back up the stairs.
deaf and a
He's gonna
coward.
peek around the column.
What
Let's
goes
let's circle back to that
yeah,
and
number
see what
two
the
is always
next one
hard.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, you roll on to the next one.
And do they have to be opened in sequence or guessed in sequence? That's another
No.
thing we didn't think about.
It didn't matter the last time we did it.
If I'm in front, I don't matter. If I'm in back, I make everything be more. I am something, yet I am nothing. What am I?
One more time.
If I'm in front, I don't matter.
If I'm in front, I don't matter. If I'm in back, I make everything be more. I am something, yet I am nothing. What am I?
The number 0.
The skull inverts itself. You then watch the one that you skipped changes to a new riddle.
Okay, well let's give this one a shot. If we go back to the
I
second
peek back
one.
around. You're welcome.
Up. I didn't get that at all.
All right, so we go back. Oh my God, this one's great.
Oh god.
You go back to the reset riddle based on the fact that you skipped one and solved one. You begin to realize that these tumbled lock mechanisms they care, but you get the feeling that solving the riddles is some kind of rite of passage or some kind of proof or some kind of proof of measure. As you circle,
Worthiness.
yeah, kind of. It feels that it's got that kind of religious vibe to it. Shifting back to the one you skipped after watching it shimmer and change. What is black when you buy it? Red when you use it? And white when you throw it away? Are these too easy for you, Brendan?
No, I'm just refusing to say the first thing that popped into my head, which is completely wrong.
I don't think that's PC, buddy. Figure it out.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say out of character dog poo, but
Why would
well,
you buy it? You buy
some
dog
people
poo?
are weird. All right.
Okay,
and
okay.
would dog poo be red when you use it? you might want
What
to
are
take
you
that
using
dog
it
to the
for?
vet.
Black when you use it.
It's-
Red.
it's
No, black when you buy it, red
black-
when you use it,
and
white when you throw it away.
Coal.
The skull
Yeah.
locks into place. You now have 2 of the
Three.
5, 3 of the 5.
3 of the 5.
The
Oh, Gatarn with 2 of them.
you move
pretty
I was stuck on the
stereotypes.
fact that like red, more like red, like not like
Yeah,
color.
I was thinking reading.
I was thinking colors.
Yeah, I was on the colors, but
Well done, Gatharn. On to the next one.
new champion
Try and
That
keep
is-
this
enters the ring.
streak going.
It's been around for millions of years,
How
but
much
it's
is a
no
moon?
more than a month old. What is it?
The moon.
Yep. You skull
Captain.
inverts. Now,
Good
the one
job,
thing you
guys.
do remember is if you get the 5th one wrong, it seems to reset all the locks and trigger at least that 5th skull trap. So you guys
I
are kind
don't
of
remember that with all the darts sticking out of the body.
as you guys stand there staring, Gatharn like looking around the column at all of you.
But PT Dubs is
I would like to take the dodge action and ready myself for what might come next. If I have to take a dexterity, I would like advantage.
The
is
final,
Medi feeling a little thirsty?
the final riddle shimmers
No, because
Near-
you didn't bleed.
near the
Yeah, but everybody else did.
Well, it's got a point. there's a small Capri straw sticking out of Gatharn.
Yeah, it's a hollow dart.
What holds water that is full of holes?
What
holds
holds
that's full of
water?
holes?
That is full of holes. I will whisper to everybody, like, so I don't say it out loud. A
Yeah,
sponge?
we huddle. The 3 of us huddle because Gatharn's hiding in the staircase.
Yeah, like a sponge. Do you think it's a sponge?
Ooh, that's very Captain. I think that's a good answer. And I will join Gatharn on the stairwell. Go for it.
What'd he say?
Yeah, I'll say
He
a sponge.
No, as he's saying sponge, I will say he said it was a sponge.
It inverts. The other skulls then invert sideways, invert up, down, like a series of noises. And then you guys watch as the ground that you're standing on begins to collapse into a series of circular stairs leading down yet once again.
Making sure that was like like an adjustment and not just it falls out from under you. Okay, cool.
No,
cool,
it's
cool.
like it's reacting to its being unlocked.
Sweet.
Would you like me to go first again?
Yep.
Yes, please. You're doing great, Betty.
I like to look for traps.
Okay.
Omni is very much like a
Give me investigation, please.
cheerleader for the group. It's like you're all shining in your element. I love it. This is fantastic. We're really, really coming together as a team now. It's working out well.
When you say we are really coming together as a team, do you mean us or yourself?
Yes.
23.
You guys watch as Medi begins to examine the first stairwell. And the minute she places her hand, a pressure plate clicks underneath a small round pressure plate. And you watch as a blade comes spiraling out of the side of the chamber. And then you kind of duck underneath it and you watch as it goes back up into the wall.
Are you saying I'm checking for traps with my face, Jason?
Well,
I'm just putting my hands on everything?
That's a viable strategy. Face check everything.
The pressure plate was triggered. You figured out the pattern. Once again, it feels like avoidance. But, you know, stepping on it means this blade might hit you.
So don't step on that. Wouldn't recommend it.
On this?
How high did the blade go?
I'd say Medi is giving Jin the death stare, but
maybe
he
about-
already has that.
Maybe about 2 feet high.
Damn. I was hoping I could just like walk right under it.
You can limbo.
You gotta have the mega knees.
Step on it. Thought.
So what's the order of march?
I think the OG order, right?
So we got Medi. We got Medi in front, followed by Jin, followed by Omni, followed by Gatharn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. As you
After
begin,
they go down.
I feel
after
like
they
we
go
would
down a little bit.
we would inform
I'm gonna-
Rizal
I'm
what's
gonna
going on
step on
before
the,
we went in.
how would you like to inform her? She's pretty far away.
I was gonna say before we went like way too deep, just to
We're
let her
already way
know.
too deep.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're already
okay.
about 150 feet deep at this point.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And now you're descending what feels like as you begin to follow this stairwell down, you descend about another 50 feet into water. You're now in a hollowed out chamber, ankle deep in water.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So after they went down a few feet that I knew that the blade would miss them, I'm going to trigger the trap. I'm going to try and hit the blade with my axe to kind of like dislodge it.
Okay, you trigger it. Give me an attack roll.
That is 21.
21. Gave it a 20 for its armor class. The blade swings down. You kind of catch it with your axe, and it's already retracting and making its way back up. You can see a series of chains pulling it back up into its position.
Are you trying
Can
to
I
figure out a
grip
way
it?
to jam it?
No, I want the blade.
You just the okay.
I imagine like Omni's head pops up. What are you doing?
Can I try and like grab it? Can I stall it long enough to try and grab it and try and yank it down from this chain?
Trigger the trap again. You can try.
Yeah, I do that.
Okay. Give me an
So
attack
you
roll.
want to take the blade that is swinging with momentum, you want to catch it with your hands and
No,
try
I'm
and rip
stopping
it.
with my axe first.
Ah.
to pause it long enough for me to grab onto the mechanism that it's swinging from.
Yeah, well, I'm interested to see how this is gonna go.
That's
We're
25
just
to
gonna
hit.
call everybody else back and be like, hey, you guys might want to watch this.
This might be
25 to hit.
This might be why there's no major population centers that are like half orc, half gnome.
No.
Possible.
Curious how it works too. All right, we're naturally curious people.
Now
That was
give
25 to
me
hit.
grapple.
Don't try
with
to lie to me. You just
Yeah.
want a great axe.
Now give me grapple with advantage.
That is 26.
Okay, you block it, grab onto it, and Omni, based on the lineup, you hear a scream, very like low sounding scream, almost like a grunt, and there's the briefest of shadow of Gatharn being pulled back up into the depths of where this blade came from. Just Gatharn, you're holding on to this thing. It is now making its way into a foot-long sliver into the side. The chains are retracting inside of it, and it's going to pull you right into that space.
So it's a foot wide.
No, it's a foot long, 2 inches wide.
Oh, then I let go.
Okay, you're like, give me acrobatics to keep from taking any falling damage.
That is 19.
19. You manage that. Now give me a deck save to make sure you don't step on another pressure plate.
That is 18 plus 3, 21.
Okay, you managed to avoid the other pressure plate that was nearby where you land.
That was not seen.
Are you done?
Yeah, the mechanism's way too well oiled.
The whole
Can
time he's
we-
like walking, looking up.
Can we continue on then?
Yes.
All right, Gatharn, you go in front of us. Go on.
Go on. Go on.
I
Go on.
sprint.
So all of you are now down at the base of this new stairwell that's revealed itself. You're standing in about 6 inches of brackish, very smelly, stale water that maybe has been seeping through all the exposed surfaces down here. About
Literally
20
not standing in this water. Actually, he's standing on the wall.
there in front of you is, you could do that, right, Maddie? Or Medi, you can do
Yes.
that. You guys watch as Medi kind of uses her ability, and she is like clinging onto the side of the wall just above the water line. 20 feet in front of you, you can see a steel door that seems to be almost bluish in color. Behind you, a gold door, but very kind of like almost like, you know how it gets green and kind of patinaed from the effect of the environment. To your right, you can see a red door, and then to your left, you can see like a blackened iron door. They're all metal with kind of like residual schematics of like schemas of like paint, like maybe they've been painted these colors. All throughout, and I'll say your passive will be high enough to pick up on this. There's little streams of percolating bubbles coming up all through the water, just like very microscopic bubbles just kind of bubbling up.
Is there any scent or aroma?
Give me a survival check.
Does the water appear flammable and oily?
Give me a perception check.
Survival 17.
12.
17. Well, between the two of you, it's not that the water feels flammable or oily. There's definitely kind of a sulfur-like smell coming from the bubbles. Almost like a fume.
We haven't stepped fully into the cavern yet, right?
Coming off the stairs puts you in the space, the cavernous space. 20
And
feet in front of
behind
you is a
us
door.
is-
Yeah, there's a door in front, door behind, door to the right, door to the left. The
I'm
stairwell
looking
takes...
for something to wedge the door open.
Give me a perception check.
16.
16. There are some smaller to medium-sized stones slightly further out underneath the water.
I take a piton and
Okay.
hammer it into the freaking ground to make a wedge.
Okay. Sleight of hand. We'll see how well you do it. You haven't gone through any doors yet, so there's no door to leave open.
I thought you said that there was a door behind us as we entered the cabin.
No, you stepped
Like we were
off the
coming-
no, you stepped off the stairwell that you were on directly into the
Oh.
cavern. 20 feet behind you,
Gotcha.
20 feet in front, 20 feet to your right, 20 feet to your left are the 4 different colored doors.
Oh, so we're kind of like on a column/pillar in the middle of the cavern.
Possibly. You're
Gotcha.
standing in 6 inches of water that's little tiny bubbles are percolating up from the undersurface.
Okay. So I don't. There's no door to wedge because there's not open.
Does anybody with above game higher than a +4 insight want to do a gut check and see what direction or which color door we want to try first? Investigate.
You want to
Or-
vibe check the room, Cam?
Yeah, you got a vibe. Who's got the best vibe check?
Hmm.
By the way,
What's
if you're
your
out there
insight,
watching, there's
Shannon?
nothing more exciting than when a storyteller challenges their players with riddles and traps and puzzles. It's an absolute blast. If you don't use it enough in your game, I highly recommend it. It's very entertaining.
You
I
enjoy watching
will-
your players squirm.
Yes.
Well, no, because
think-
when Gatharin goes apeshit and rolls 28 to hit all night long, there's a bit of a residual kind of, depression in the room. So it's a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit cathartic. I'm not going to lie, but I also enjoy it. It's a change of pace.
Shannon's got a finger up in the air. Who knows what that means?
Can
Chicken
I
tendy.
crawl around on this wall and go check out each of the doors? See if there's any writing or anything on
Absolutely. Which one would you like to start with?
them? Okay, I'll start with the one on the right.
And does Gatharn's detect magic spell that he had, is that still up, or do we
That's
need
an
to?
instantaneous thing that lasts for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like a pulse that he kind of utilizes. Medi, go ahead and give me acrobatics with advantage, as it's not a very easy surface to walk on, but you're skilled at this.
As Medi is going towards the first door,
Okay.
Omni is going to cast detect magic, and anything within 30 feet of us, I can sense it and see what kind of class it is.
Fair enough. Since all the doors are within 20 feet of you from this center point, all 4 doors do glow a blue whitish light. You know that to be enchantment. The surface of the water within your immediate 30 feet of sphere of influence kind of glows a slight greenish hue. Definitely a kind of evocation effect comes to mind. Medi, what'd you get for your acrobatics?
24.
Okay. I believe it's kind of hard to pick the nearest. They're all technically kind of the same. So the first door we'll say you end up at is the red door. And there is
Yeah, the one on the right.
there is a familiar beginnings of common riddles on it. And on the surface of the door, where you don't even need to make an investigation check for this, there is a relief, another effigy of a skull with a sword driven through the top of the skull down through the jaw. And then the riddle is like right above it.
So there's a skull with a sword.
Yep.
Be sure
and
to
it-
look around you, make sure there aren't any traps in the ceilings or anything like that.
Aye, Captain.
You're doing
I'm
great.
I'm going to read what's on the door. I'd like to see what it says, please.
It says, "What tastes better than it smells?"
I think of many things that is applicable to.
Did you
And
say the riddle out loud to
going
us?
to the next one, if I can. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Not yet. But
So
if
that
I
was the
could
red
go,
door.
like,
We'll say you
above, around the door.
Yeah, we'll say you make your way over towards the blue door. You guys watch as
Yep.
Medi is crawling along the wall's surface. Go ahead and give me another acrobatics with advantage because you are skilled at this.
Nah.
I let them know
natural
that the
20,
water.
28.
Ooh!
What'd you
I
get?
let them know that the natural 20, 28.
For 28.
Nice. You easily, very vampire like, crawl across the surface. And here at this door, it is a skull that is cracked in half. And in the middle of it, you can kind of see a skull, like a skeletal hand coming up out of its skull. And then a new riddle placed on top of it.
Was this the black door?
This
Blue.
is the blue door.
Blue door.
And it says, what goes into the water red and comes out black?
I'm planning to just go around and gather information. And
Fair enough. So give me 2 more acrobatics checks, and then I'll read you 2 more riddles.
That one is a 21.
Okay, that's good.
And that one is one of those was a natural one, but 23.
23. So you get to the yellowish golden door. It is the beginning of eternity, the end of time, and space. The beginning of the end and the end of every space.
Okay.
What is it?
Slow down. I'm writing all of these down. It is the beginning of
It is.
eternity.
Yep, it is the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of the end, and the end of every space. What is it? And then the final door, which is the black
I have a
door.
guess on this one, but
Okay. Final door, which is on the black door. What binds 2 people, yet only touches one? What binds 2 people, yet only touches one?
and what is the relief on
Oh,
the
the
yellow
two,
and black
the next relief with the blue door, right? That was the yellow door. The relief with the yellow
one? That
door.
was this, yeah.
The relief with the yellow door are 2 clasping hands of skeletal nature like this, almost like in friendship. And then the black door, it's just
Or, in a romantic sense.
the black door where it's just the upper portion of the skull, no jaw or anything, just the upper portion of the skull.
Got it. And I will come back and relay this information.
Okay. So the 4 of you are staying in the center of this room. The smell of sulfur, bubbles coming up through the water, and Medi has now filled all of you in on the different doors. The blue door, the red door, the gold door, and the black door.
Medi, can you repeat the black doors riddle?
What binds 2 people yet only touches one?
A wedding band, right?
Do you say that out
No.
loud or are you whispering?
No.
I'm
We're 20 feet away from the doors. They can
Alright.
hear us.
Just saying. I
No,
mean, it's an
it's
echo
a group
chamber.
huddle. It's a group huddle.
It's an echo chamber.
So I put my hands over my mouth. It's a wedding
Huddle.
band, right?
No,
not a
both,
wedding band.
both people wear
Wedding
those.
band, both people wear one of those.
Yeah, but you
Um,
don't. The wedding band itself only touches the one, but it binds 2 people together in holy matrimony or unholy matrimony. I don't know, whatever your flavor is.
Possibly. We're maybe thinking about like grief if one were to lose another one.
Captain, I'm usually behind you 110%, but that's stupid.
Okay. Jen, watch your mouth.
Yes, sir.
We're about constructive criticism here. We're not trying to tear each other
Okay.
down. We're trying to build everybody up.
That's what I did. I said,
None of
Captain, I'm
the,
usually behind you 110%.
You hear
that was-
echo throughout the chamber. All the dead people, all the dead people can be found in the darkest spaces.
Chuckles is getting darker and darker by the level we get down here.
Yeah. They don't seem to be too concerned about us at all. They
No.
think we're going to end up like anybody else, probably dead. Anyways, let's try and figure these out and get out of here as quickly as possible.
I feel strongly about the wedding band on the black door, but 'tis a group. Wedding
What
band,
about the other ones?
Jin yells out.
You hear a cranking metallic noise, and the door opens.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a performance check just to see how well Jin does.
His victory dance.
Yeah. I mean, I probably don't have anything in performance, but. No, fuck off. Give me back my
And
sheep.
none of the reliefs matched the relief that was outside the cairn, right?
Nope.
All right.
They're all
17.
net new reliefs.
Jin does a little moonwalk. All around Omni. I told you, Captain. Put your faith in me.
Okay.
Oh my
So,
god, I
the
miss our
letter E.
live game so much.
What's the next one, Smarty Pants?
Oh, I don't know. I'm stupid. Remember?
It's true. He's
I
dumb.
just
Yeah,
yell out the
yeah.
letter E at the yellow door.
Ecstasy.
It opens.
Oh,
What's
one
the
for
riddle
me,
for
one
that?
for Medi.
That's the long
There's
riddle.
the
That's the
beginning
one
of
where
eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of the end, and the end of every space.
the letter E.
Clever.
Yeah. That's pretty good, Medi.
I mean,
I
you
go for a
guys
high
are doing
five.
you guys are doing really fucking awesome.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What are the other
We
two
don't
rules?
even need to breathe. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What
Undead
do you
game.
mean we?
Undead game.
What's this
Undead-
we,
oh,
Kimos?
I don't know. What are the other two riddles?
There is the red door, which is
Mhm.
what tastes better than it smells.
I'm feeling that it's cheese. Have you guys ever smelled Parmesan? It smells like straight up vomit or the stuff behind the back of your ears. Like, oof.
And
I was
then
gonna say, in jokingly,
What happened
in
here?
in Medi's opinion, it could be blood.
what was the other one I gave you?
What goes in the water red but comes out black?
That's
or
right, yep.
What goes or something along those lines?
Yeah, that's the blue door, I believe, correct? That's the blue door.
Yeah,
And
wrote them
then-
all down.
And then the red door is what tastes better than it smells. That's the red door. And
Your
then,
tongue.
And that door
Oh,
opens
yeah.
up.
The last one's
Omni's
for you,
done.
Captain. Last one's for you. Mm-hmm. I
Alright,
start
Omni.
typing them up.
Wait. Your tongue was the correct answer for what
Well,
tastes better than
tongue.
it smells.
Tongue was the
Yeah.
answer.
It makes sense, Captain. Sometimes
because
the
it
riddle is
can't
just a riddle
smell.
that,
How did it taste?
yeah,
Oh
what
my
binds
God.
two people that only
Omni's
on
like,
round one?
Omni's
Don't
like,
talk
I'm
about
so,
grief, Captain. It's a
I'm
wedding
so under-equipped for this.
It's just a wedding band. It doesn't mean grief.
What's the last one? Goes
What?
into the water red.
and
But
comes
comes
out
out black?
What am
That's
I?
all you, Captain. Nobody help him. Nobody help him. He's got this.
What goes into the water red and comes out black?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Use divine guidance.
I don't have that. I'm not a cleric. Any ideas?
Don't
Hey,
you
this
have
is all
just
you,
a
Captain.
bunch of different knowledge bases to tap into.
No.
My girlfriend's
Yeah.
cheating over here.
I-
Is she looking it up?
No. She gave me, I think, is the right answer, but I can't use it. So Jin is bowing out of this one. He's
Damn
just
it.
dancing along, trying to hype up Omni. Yeah, there you go, boy. There you go, girl. Whatever you are, they, them, whatever face you want to wear. We, you. Yeah, that's my
I
Captain
will
Omni.
say, with the success of the riddles so far, both the skull locks to get down to this point and then the unsealing of these doors, all the riddles seem to be either time, age, union, transformation, change. They all feel very like things have changed or transforming, ageless or aged. Friendship, not friendship, the idea of emptiness. And there's a theme to these riddles, an overall theme that kind of echoes a bit inside your mind.
You got this, Captain. You just take a deep breath.
No.
Oh my God.
I'm stumped.
I love that.
Yeah.
Monster Alexandria is a great handle.
That's my girlfriend's name.
I know. It's great. Can
Goes
hear
in the water red, comes out
Alright.
black.
Jin gets divine intervention and a voice whispers on from the great nether.
Everyone's like, I know this one. What the fuck's wrong with you guys?
What color is the door?
Blue.
That is the blue door. And that is a good question. Give me an insight check, Gatharn.
And y'all motherfuckers dumb as hell.
Insight?
Yep.
That's a dirty 20.
Oh, there you go.
It's the color of steel.
Iron?
Oh,
No, you said the color of steel?
The door is the color of steel.
So
Forged steel.
Steel?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like
Oh,
that's what goes in red
forged
and comes
steel.
out black.
I mean,
Right,
it
because
could,
when you're working with steel, when you temper it, it's molten red and it's glowing, and then when you put it in water, it quenches it and it immediately turns to black.
So steel?
I'm gonna imagine you guys are whispering this to each other as you're trying to figure
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah. I mean,
All right. I see the trepidation between Omni and Gatharn, and I kind of tug on Medi's shirt, and I slowly creep back into the stairwell. Safety.
I'll go back with him.
you know, I'll trust
You got this,
Stefan and say
Captain.
steel.
You know this one, right? You're just letting.
As
Well, he needs he needs a confidence boost. Honestly, sometimes he feels a little.
as
down on
all
himself,
the
but I know
doors
he's got it.
shut, the percolation builds, the water begins to boil over, the chamber fills with flame from the sulfur smell and erupts. I need everyone to make dex saves, please.
So far,
Even the
so-
people in the stairwell.
I'll give you advantage because you made it.
Yeah.
So I'll say you were being cautious, so you make it to the stairwell. The stairwell's exposed, but I'll give you advantage. So, Jin, what do you think the answer was?
Lava?
Nope.
Oh, it wasn't lava.
Iron?
Nope. But what's a tool that you might use when forging steel?
Ama?
What do you do to stir the
Tongs?
fire?
Tongs?
So,
Oh, bellows.
or
Or a red hot poker?
yes,
And
Red hot-
what happens to a red hot poker when you quench it?
turns black.
You're looking at us like we're blacksmiths.
So
Well, I
the
happen to know
correct-
Cathard is.
the correct word is poker. Okay.
Well,
A
I was
fire-
thinking like the
a
metal
fire
that the
poker?
poker was made
the
out
correct
of.
word, the correct answer was a red hot poker.
Red hot poker.
Correct.
Oh.
All right. So what do we
Red
get
hot
for
chili pokers.
what do we get for
Yeah.
deck
Yeah.
saves?
23.
Okay.
9 with advantage. I rolled double 5s.
Oh, good lord,
Oof.
Medi.
Oh no.
19.
19.
Okay.
That'll save. Gatharn,
21.
21.
Give it to me.
So everybody takes 41 points of fire damage, halved to 20 if you saved. Jin's doing fast math.
Not good.
Jin is taking a nap on the stairs and he just slips down.
So, Medi, where you and Jin have retreated to, you watch as the flames overcome Jin, as he's not quite fast enough to shift out of the way, and he collapses to the ground unconscious.
I leave Maddie with that.
What to do?
I mean, Medi, normally if you thought you could get away with a quick snack, I mean, you begin to realize there's not much blood in this thing. Probably no blood.
Dang.
So here's the thing, right? It was more along the lines of I have no ability to fix this. That's unfortunate.
You could certainly try to stabilize them.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna try to do. Because
Okay.
Nah, screw it. I have 370 characters on D&D Beyond.
Yes, you
It
do
is
have
what
an
it is.
addiction. You do have an addiction.
Yes, I will attempt to stabilize him.
Okay. Give me a medicine
Spectral
check.
ghost hand comes out as
Give me a
classic.
medicine check with advantage because I would consider you somewhat of a slighted expert at this ability to manage people's health.
But I got a weird
Yeah, manage
constitution.
people's health. Hey, double 16s, so 18.
18. You managed to stabilize
Mhm.
Jin. It's awkward, but he is no longer dying. He's just unconscious.
I'm going to take a short rest.
Okay. You make your way over back to the stairwell where an unconscious Jin is breathing very lightly. Medi's there as well. Omni, what are you doing?
I would obviously, just for the record, call out. By the way, Jin is down.
Oh.
This is an inopportune time for him to take a nap.
He's not taking a light nap, he's taking a dirt nap.
Crispy critters everywhere. Oh, you think you're
Nobody asked
worthy
for
to
your
get
opinion.
down here.
Right. So I'll go over to Jin
Okay.
and use 10 points of my lay on hand pool
Okay.
and
Jin.
give him 10 HP.
Okay. Jen, you come back to consciousness. Omni retracts their hands from your chest, bringing you back to life.
I
Consciousness.
smell my shirt. It's like, does it smell weird, Omni? And as Omni leans down, I give him a kiss on his head. Thank you.
I definitely did not lean down.
I got you. I got you.
Definitely didn't lean down, and I'll help Jin up and be like, let's all try and
That was a doozy.
let's all try and remain with the living today, shall we? And then I'll kind of just like,
Continuous at best.
Yeah, I
So
look
a
at
couple
Nettie and I'm like,
things. A couple things were definitely revealed. One, the water itself is not dangerous. The water itself is a trap that's part of the protection of the doors. You know that failing the riddles could release another flame trap on you. However, this time, the riddles do not change. And the red hot poker is going to be a gimme because I kind of feel like iron and red hot poker are kind of similar. So I'm going to let that fourth door be a gimme, but I'm still going to let you get a little punished from the damage. You guys go back, redo all the riddles, get to the fourth door. That opens it. As the fourth door opens...
red hot poker.
where did
Well,
he
if
get that answer from? That's not gonna be the right answer. Fuck me.
As all four doors
Just came to me.
remain open, the gravel bed of the water, that area begins to slowly recede under your feet as you guys begin to fall with the collapse of the floor, but controlled, not intent on causing you harm. And as it begins to fall below you, almost in kind of like a magical relief, as gravel or an inverted wave entering into a massive chamber, you are now gliding and falling very slowly into an unmeasurable chamber filled with all manner of stalactites, stalagmites, jutted and broken outcroppings of rock. As you begin to lower further and further, you cannot see the edges of this chamber. It's so dark that the only light that is given off is through your dark vision. As you look down below your feet and the sand and gravel gradually gives way, you are
I have a torch.
Fair enough. If you have the torch, then that will unfortunately ruin everybody else's dark vision, but give you a decent amount of view space here. As you look down beyond your feet, you're descending towards what almost looks to be a submerged lagoon of some sort. And as you descend even down, you feel the gravel begin to give way. It leaves you almost on like a shoreline of this lagoon, looking out in the very middle of this watery space, barely enough light emanating out there. You can see what looks to be a dilapidated ship of some sort. Maybe a couple 100 feet long, 20, 30, maybe even 40 feet wide. The masts are kind of tilted at askew, rotted sails dangling from it. It appears to be about maybe 200-300 feet out into the middle of the water.
Top of the game, Jason.
Mhm.
Around what time of day is it right now?
Considering the amount of time you spent doing this and you have no access to daylight, give me a survival check. We'll see if you can figure it out.
Well, this is just for my personality change, not for me personally.
But we can share it with your characters at
Yeah.
the same pace.
Oh, I am an idiot. 8.
It's probably afternoonish at this point.
Okay.
So we
Yeah,
kind of feather
from-
fall down here.
It kind of had that vibe. And as soon as all of the sand and gravel dissipated, it just kind of set you down on the shoreline.
From here, would we be able to see if we believe this ship is in some kind of working condition, or
From this distance,
something
it
that
would
could be possibly worked up to?
Well, I mean, from this distance, it's hard to tell. And there's always the challenge of how the hell did it get here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, how the hell are we gonna get out?
Yep. Well, we can explore this this entire cavern a bit, but do we think that's Copper Joe's ship?
I think a more
Maybe one eye
appropriate
release.
question is it worth dragging whatever's in there out?
I mean, depending on how big it is.
No, I mean, somebody went through a lot of trouble of keeping this down here.
Mm-hmm. So we might have to go through a lot of trouble in order to get it out.
How are we getting out now?
I don't think you understand what I'm trying to tell you, Omni.
Mm.
Do we even bother trying to bring it out, or do we just tell the captain that we couldn't locate it?
Well, I get the sense that the captain would be able to tell if we were lying.
Told you we should have just given them a map.
Either way, we were tasked with bringing the item back. And as far as we're concerned, that's the only goal, because our lives are essentially in their hands. And
Is
we
there
owe them a debt for
currents?
saving us.
Or wind or anything like that down here.
Give me a perception check.
Is my torch moving any direction?
Give me a
14.
perception check.
14 on
17.
perception.
The torchlight is still. There's no obvious wind or breeze whatsoever. And for the first time, spending a few minutes in this water, or near the edge of this water, you kind of look down where the water and this surface kind of meet, and there's very small, minute crystalline reflections, and there's a slight kind of haze coming off the water. It looks incredibly cold, almost just shy of freezing.
Oh,
Hmm.
never bothered me
Good.
anyway.
Hey, wait. If it's this cold, couldn't you just make a bridge out to it like you did with our raft before?
If I wanted to.
Omni's like, people wonder why I'm a frustrated captain.
I'm not a captain. Um,
Cathard's like, it's okay.
Although
I'm not a halfling or a goblin.
there's a ship right there though. Do we want to do recon and check as much of the cavern as possible before getting closer and trying to investigate the ship? Ami is just like literally pulling a vote for every big decision that people are looking to them to make, because it's just still super unsure of what to do, and it's like, well, if everybody thinks that should be the way, then there's a less likelihood that we're all going to get killed in the so we're going to go with that.
Give me investigation check. In fact, you're all free to take advantage of Omni's insistence. So everybody can give me an investigation check, and we'll see how the group does as a whole.
Cool. With advantage, right? Because we're working as a group, right?
No, I
Okay.
think no.
Dirty 20.
Okay.
22.
Okay.
14.
Okay.
Not that great.
There's that math. There's Shannon's math, and then she was interrupted.
I just don't want to be called on 11.
11. Oh.
Should Rizal
Roll a
roll
three.
should Rizal roll a perception check for outside?
It's been a while. I'm okay with that.
After that fire, the Karn just kind of farts a little bit. She's like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Natural 20 for a 29
yeah.
for Rizal.
Okay. Other than the massive dinosaur that walked by her, she stayed hidden enough. It didn't notice her and kept going.
Awesome.
Well, there's no way it can crawl down here, right? The staircase is too tight.
Yeah,
I would
true.
think that would be a challenge for such a large object, yes.
It breaks it down into smaller components.
So what you're saying is that dinosaur is an object.
Yeah, that's
ri-
not cool, man.
Of ridicule, of obsession, of passion, of
You said the water is like ice cold,
Action?
like damn near freezing.
damn near freezing. And as Omni shifts the torch to start looking around the entirety of the chamber, you begin to realize that the space that you're standing on is not really that big. It's maybe 60 foot in diameter. Shifting the light behind you, in the very center of this small little island that you're on, is a stack of stones and what looks to be some kind of large animal skull set upon it, like very large. And from this distance, everybody give me nature checks, as you are close enough to it.
Nature checks. As I expected.
8.
Okay?
22.
Okay?
11.
Okay?
11 as well.
Jin, you're the only one that recognizes this thing. It looks like a massive dragon skull. Its mouth is open. There seems to be some kind of rolled up chain in the interior of its mouth.
If anybody makes a move to go closer to it to investigate, I put a hand on that person.
Okay.
That's a dragon skull.
And it's quite
cool.
large. It's maybe about 3 feet tall, about 6 feet, 7 feet long. Its mouth is open, and inside is a spooled up, heavy iron chain.
Is my detect magic still popping up? Are we getting anything?
I'll say it's up. It's definitely evocation and magic and transmutation sense that you get from it.
For the chain?
For the entire, it feels like a mechanism.
Okay. What are we thinking? Should we
And that's basically it.
mean-
Otherwise, all around is water. You cannot even see the edges or tops of the cavern itself. And then 300 feet out is what looks to be a ship.
Jin is just gonna go on his knees, butt to heel, and I'm gonna take a rest. That last trap
Short rest.
took a lot out of me. Yeah,
Okay, go ahead and roll your hit
as I
die.
informed the rest of the group. If you want to
Did we
join
all
me in the
maybe
short
do that?
rest,
Yeah.
And you can ponder
Already did
and
it.
speculate while you're burning your hit die.
okay.
Yeah, I'll do that as well.
I'm gonna grab my
Um,
charging cable from the other side of the computer real quick because my phone is about to die.
Go for it.
So what are we doing?
Short rest, and then roll your hit dice.
I know I gotta
I burned
see
3.
what my hit dice are again for this.
For paladin or sorcerer?
Well, I have 4 paladin and 1 sorcerer.
Paladin is a D10, sorcerer is a D6.
Gotcha. Let's try a couple of paladins. Let's try
I had to
2d10.
use all my hit die.
Ooh, you did get beat up, huh?
Yeah, I was fucked.
Nice. We'll do one more.
Does the
14.
chain appear to be like leading out, or is it
21.
just spooled inside the dragon mouth?
Give me an investigation check.
Because while they're bandaging themselves up, I rested when they were trying to resuscitate what's his face.
Okay, fair enough.
18.
Hey, Initiative League, how you doing? Thanks for the raid. Appreciate it.
And
And
say roll initiative. What?
and I did get your Discord invite, but I got super busy today, so I will be hitting you up tomorrow so we can chat about what we talked about earlier. But thank you guys for the raid. I really do appreciate it.
Welcome, everybody.
Hi, everybody that is raiding currently. If you're just tuning in, I used 3 hit dice and got 16 hit points.
Nice.
Tight.
That's pretty good, right? That's about a
That's
6.
two. That's 2 twos.
Oh, I don't know.
And
I never get to play, so I have no clue.
Aw.
I rolled.
So, if you're just joining us, Jason has made a fantastic episode of riddles. So we're realizing,
We got our ass beat by words.
yeah. Words do hurt. Words do hurt.
They can be painful.
It's rough. It's rough.
All right, so Gatharin, what'd you get for your investigation roll?
18.
18. Staring at the way the chain is spooled, there is almost like a foot length of it just kind of dangling at the edge of the spool. There does appear to be some kind of mechanism that allows you to control this thing. It's strange. It's very heavy, very rust imbued, lots of rust on it. But it looks like something could attach to it.
Can we look around and see if we find any other components that might be connected to it, or other mechanical parts that could attach to it to crank it?
As you kind of meander over there, Omni, go ahead and give me investigation, see what you can make of it.
Ew.
Can I assist him?
Advantage. I'm cool with that.
19 plus 0, so 19.
Between the 3 of you now kind of like cloistered around this mechanism, there's 2 things you begin to notice. It does face the direction of the ship. The bolt mechanism off to the side looks like it has been purposely disconnected. You're beginning to feel that maybe this thing at some point was connected to the ship.
Like this might be able to tow it in closer to us or something.
Possibly.
Well, the chain's disconnected.
Yeah, you don't really see like a handle or an obvious like manual mechanism, but you get the feeling that maybe at one point the chain itself could have been connected. The spool itself appears to be very like it's heavy duty, but the problem is the distance. Get the feeling at some point it was connected closer, and then the ship kind of drifted away from this point over time.
Did you reveal what you noticed with your detect magic?
Yes.
So there was evocation and transmutation, right?
On the chain.
Well, evocation doesn't bode well for us.
I'm looking for
Question.
words.
Didn't you say something about there being chain in the skull's mouth?
In the
That's where
dragon
it's-
skull's mouth.
That's
yeah.
where the
Spool.
that's where the spool is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, internet. Sorry.
No worries. We
Like,
all
is it
have to
spooled
live
up
with
like a garden hose spool?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much exactly. Just imagine massive in size, obviously.
So, Omni, you want to go approach the ship?
Well, I think that's where the item that we're.
And as
Right,
you guys are having this
is-
conversation,
The ice is thin, the water cold. Come on aboard. Let's all not get old.
Ironic because probably can't die, so can't get old.
I think he means for us to get old if there's some type of chronergy magic.
Well, I definitely
Maybe
don't
he's
want to get
saying,
in the
let's
water.
not get old because he's going to kill us before we can get old.
That's also
Or he
possible.
probably just is tired of waiting for us.
And who knows
So I
how long
will-
you guys been down here.
Cesare, you look like you just ran a marathon.
Why are the undead? Why are the undead so impatient?
I mean, the guy's probably just lonely.
So I will start
Probably,
using
that's
shape
probably it.
water to create a little ice.
And if you're
blue.
hanging out with us after the raid, be sure to put in exclamation dice. We will give away some dice at the end of the show. So be sure to put in exclamation dice to earn a chance to win some dice.
Win free dice.
So,
Is there any writing near the skull?
you said you're doing shape water to
Yeah.
move the ice where?
As far as you can tell, Gatharn, you're kind of half expecting there to be some kind of fucking riddle here. You begin to realize that there's no riddle here. This feels like a magical mechanism that was used for a purpose at some point. There's no writing. There's no nothing.
Is it? What do you think would happen if we just pulled the chain? The
Right.
mechanism is broken, but what if we just pull it? Like, what's going to happen? And Jason is too pixelated right now, so I can't see his smirking face to see if he thinks it's a good idea or if he knows that it's our demise. So,
Well, why am I pixelated? I should be fine.
No, you hella pixelated.
Ah, you're good
my
now.
bro.
You were pixelated a second ago.
Strange.
I think it's just because
Discord.
we're seeing your processing through OBS and then into Discord, so it lags every once in a
Yeah.
while. But
Yeah, I've
on
noticed it
Twitch,
does
you look
that.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Pull the lever. Kronk.
should we try and grab the chain and start pulling?
Sure.
Covered
Well,
in
the chain's not
magic,
attached to anything, right?
Yeah.
Not currently.
right? Jason, weren't you saying that it looks like the chain would be like attached to a lever to like crank it to?
Mhm.
Yeah,
There's,
I mean,
there's
one end of the chain looks like it had been hooked up to the ship at one point.
correct, and then
It's no longer
near
connected
this,
to the
yeah,
ship.
near the side of where the chain and the skull is, like a heavy metal kind of connector. But you still have yet to find a lever or a means of operating it. But it looks like
Yeah,
it's
so
been
while-
used for something.
While Gatharn and Omni are like talking to each other, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
casting shape water on the water to make ice, so I can make a little bridge towards
Okay.
the ship.
Okay. You begin to organize it, and you get the little ice patches begin to form. It's just a hair below freezing, so it's really not that significant of an effort as you begin to make the first like 100-foot span of ice just over casting it. What's the total effective area of the spell?
5 cubic feet at a time.
Okay, it's cantrip though, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're casting like little Doctor what's his name? Doctor Strange like paddles to walk on. At about the 100
foot squares of ice that go down 5 feet.
At about the 100-foot portion, give me a perception check.
Vincent, famous for his perception check.
Is,
there it is. Nat one.
Yeah, he is legendary when it comes to that.
Got a 16.
So Jen, as you're making your way across, you hear a crunching noise. And you look behind you, and you can see dozens of skeletal hands beginning to pull and shatter and tear apart this ice bridge that you're building. You then look down to see hundreds of skeletal faces looking up at you like this. Their mouths hanging open, looking. If they could lick the water, they would. But they're all
technically should be frozen if they're within the 5 feet of the surface.
No, they're not within the surface. They're further down.
You got pushed
But
down.
there are these skeletal-like hands just coming out of the water, not connected to anything, attempting to rip this ice bridge apart.
How far am I from the ship at this point?
You're about halfway there.
So another 100 feet?
You're about another 150 feet to go.
I cast Call Lightning.
Okay. Doing...
I'm just going to start striking people.
Okay. Go for it.
Out of range. And if I'm not, then I'm going to get out of range.
Alrighty. So they got to pass a dex save for dex
Fair
save
enough.
16.
They fail. You watch as the hands
underwater.
You watch as the hands kind of shatter from the strike of your lightning attack.
Very nice, very nice.
I'm like, there's skeletons in the water. Whatever you guys want to do. I kind of need help, but you know.
You watch as the initial forms of those hands shatter and dissolve. A few minutes go by. Fresh hands are beginning to come out and form up.
Oh, in between, in those intermissions, I'll just keep casting the bridge to try to get closer to the ship.
I mean, they're definitely trying to prevent you from getting there, but you already made it far enough ahead before the trap was triggered that these disembodied skeletal hands are just pulling. As soon as you get near the ship, you can now see your breath in front of your face. Your skin is beginning to get like little like dusting of ice forming, almost like a film of frozen moisture. The ship itself is black with ice from the back to the keel all the way up. You can see the remnants of ropes dangling down. Looking up, it looks abandoned, but looks in pretty rough shape, like it's been here a very long time. You can barely make out some of the mast sections. It's kind of like slightly collapsed. You look over to see a section of mast is actually in the water that you couldn't see before, that kind of connects up towards the deck of the ship. You can see windows that are shattered and broken, gunwales that are like open and tattered. The ship looks like it's been here for a very long time. The entirety of it looks very run down and dilapidated, definitely.
We're gonna start hustling across the bridge and yell to Betty and Gatharn if they haven't started running across to catch up with Jin.
Jin was the only one to start going across. I didn't hear anyone else go yet. So
yeah,
I was on the little island looking for a raft.
Okay. So at this point, you can see Jin is quickly casting and racing towards the ship. And you can see little puffs of broken ice coming from something that you can't quite make out, other than the warning that Jin kind of echoes out throughout the chamber.
Betty, Gatharn, to the ship. Let's go.
The bridge still exists, and
Yeah, it's still there. It's just gradually being pulled apart by these disembodied hands. As you guys keep running and running, I need the three of you to give me
Eldritch Blast.
so with that, give me acrobatics with advantage. As you're aware of it, you got the warning.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, give me acrobatics with advantage as you're quickly making your way across this ice bridge that Jin has created.
23.
Okay.
21.
Okay.
Seven.
Nice.
So all three of you racing across, dashing as fast as you can, coming to a slide right along. Yeah. Coming at a slide right alongside Jin. The four of you now near the ship itself. The same information I shared with Jin, you all equally see as well.
I've already ran past them.
Let's get up there.
Okay. How do you guys want to get up there? There's at least 2 ropes that are dangling, and there's a portion of the mast that is collapsed and could be used as a makeshift way of getting up onto the deck of the ship. The ship itself is about 20, 25 feet in height.
I'll misty step up there. I don't want to.
You guys watch his ship. He's now up there hanging onto the other side of the railing. It's colder here, Jen, than it was down below.
It's extremely cold up here.
Omni will probably use a rope because they're anticipating that the mast is going to be covered in ice and very slippery.
Okay. Do they want to use an existing rope, or do you want to use your own rope? What's the thought process here?
We could use our own grappling hook rope.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you toss a rope up there, since I'm already up there, I'll tie it to something that seems sturdy up here.
Perfect.
Fair enough.
All right. I fish the rope and a grapple out of my bag.
Okay. So the three of you take about 10, 15 minutes to get this all set up to do this. Medi, what are you doing?
Just walk up there.
Walking on the side of the boat.
As you guys are setting this up, the rope comes down after the grapple makes it up. You're just watching Medi as she walks right at the side of the ship. Here's right beside Jin. And even you, Medi, you notice how much colder it is here as well.
Yeah, I'll just say back down to them. I know it's pretty cool, but trust me, it has its drawbacks.
And as you arrive up there, having 2 of you on the deck, and while Gatharin and Omni are kind of organizing to get up on the side, for Jin and Medi, both of you take just the briefest of moment to stop what you're doing. And you can feel this pull, this necrotic, undead energy begin to just wave across you. And, you can just hear that disembodied voice in your heads that you were hearing extrovertedly before.
Seems like I'm gonna be a little too late for you two. The dead walketh, the dead sleep.
And only Medi and Jin hear this. No one else hears this.
Oh, okay.
I just kind of turn and glance at Medi to get some confirmation that we...
Yeah, just...
And with that, you watch as
Guys
both
have fun,
Omni and Gatharin make their way up the rope, as the 2 of you are kind of exchanging glances. The 4 of you now are incredibly cold. In fact, you've been here long enough. I need 4 Constitution saving throws, please.
Each or one from each of us?
24.
1 from each.
Wait,
Okay.
25.
Okay.
Ooh, 19.
Okay.
18.
Okay.
8.
8.
Ooh.
Medi, you take 3 points of cold damage as it's very cold here. The others, you manage to resist the effect of frostbite and the other cold damage that you watch Medi take. But you get the feeling the longer you stay here in this cold environment, the more challenging this is going to become. As the 4 of you are now on the deck of the ship looking across, you don't even need to see a perception check for this. The ship is detritus and broken material, boards, crates. You can see frozen skeletal figures of all manner frozen in place. scattered about the deck. All of them seem to be centered or near the direction of an entry point or an ability to go into the main hull of the ship. You can see doors that are thrown open. There's just piles and piles of debris and detritus of all fashion everywhere. But everything is just black ice. Everywhere you look, it's frozen and frigid. A miasma, kind of like frost, coming up and off the surface of this black ice. But as you kind of stare in that direction, just taking a foot in the direction of that entry point feels even colder. It's like this space is very cold.
Are any of the skeletons moving on the ship?
Give me a perception check.
I cast Fireball.
17.
They do not appear to be. They appear to be frozen in place.
I will take this chance to cast Armor of Agathis on myself.
Okay.
How big is the ship?
It looks to be, from where you're standing in the midsection of the ship, it's about 80 feet beyond you to get to the remnants of the rear of the ship. About another 120, 150 feet in front of you. It's definitely a war galley. Its height, its width. This is a massive ship. It's big.
Whatever we
So-
need to do quickly. It does not bode well for us to stay on this ship and linger.
I take those
It
bundles
doesn't
of
bode
sticks
well.
that I've been carrying with me,
Okay.
and I start a fire.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand with disadvantage.
I mean, does Omni still have his torch going, or has their torch going?
Yep.
As they look, it's out.
Nope.
Oh, damn. 15.
It flickers for a moment and then it goes out.
I'll cast Firebolt on the on his sticks.
It and then goes out.
Dang. All right.
It's too cold for fire.
So knowing that we have a limited amount of time, and from knowing like ships and where important things would be kept on them, I'll say, do we want to split into two teams? One going for the captain's quarters, and the other going down into the storage to see what else there might be. And he's like, yes. And it's like, no.
Cathard's like, yeah, every party I've been with that split, I'm the only survivor, so sure.
I get all your stuff.
Let's just all head to the captain's quarters together.
Yeah,
Whenever
where
we move.
are all those skeletons kind of gathered at?
They're
Where does it feel like it's
mostly
going colder?
they're mostly gathered at the hull like entrance at the where the doors are flung over to go down into the hold.
I start running.
Okay. You guys watch as Cathar starts running in the direction of the hold.
Okay, that's not towards the captain's quarters, but okay. Great listening, Cathar.
You said split the party.
No, that's not what Catharn said. Catharn said, "You said split the," and he's already like almost to where the entryway into the hold is.
Who's following Gatharn?
Catharn, give me a con save, please.
Oh,
22.
22. It's colder here. As you get to the edge of the entryway into the hold, looking down, it's just a series of miasma-like black ice swirls that lead down to something that's pulsing about 30 feet below.
Is it kind of wide open?
Reasonably, but there's no edges. There's nothing
Magic
to clean.
awareness?
It's definitely a magical space.
All right, and is the thing that's pulsing an enchantment pulse?
It's too far for you to tell, and that feels strange to you. There are no edges. There's no way to hold on and make your way down. It's just swirling icicle gas, right? Just this like kind of foggy ice, and then just dark and blackened, and then a pulsing light at the very bottom of it.
Which
But-
looks about 30 feet down.
Yeah, approximately. It definitely feels like a magical space.
I think I found what we're looking for.
Guess that answers our question. and I'll rush over to where Gatharn is.
Okay. You kind of come alongside. He's looking down into the exact space that I just described to Gatharn.
I can peer through magical darkness. Does that help in this instance, or is it just the same description that was given to Gatharn?
It doesn't feel like magical darkness.
Now we don't have a light source over here, so our dark vision is not in like.
I think because I have Devil Sight, I have perfect like thermal vision. Like I could see clearly. Let me check. Check what
You're
his shit
seeing
is.
a lot of blue balls.
Hell yeah.
Is there something that I can anchor myself to?
Give me a perception.
I can see
check.
normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical.
Right. This doesn't feel like magical darkness to you.
Oh.
This feels like
Right.
something else.
24.
24. Looking around, there are some kind of fractured iron remnants nearby. Some heavier beams that seem to be jutting up in odd angles that could be possibly used as anchor points.
Okay. I'm going to anchor myself to one of them with a rope. And then I'm going to jump right down to the pulsing item.
Before Gatharn jumps, I go, backpack. Take me with you.
So, Medi and Omni, what are you two doing at this point? You can see where Gatharn and Jin are setting up a rigging to go over into this open space.
How far down is it?
Are you over by the edge yet?
Dark.
Churchy.
Medi, you make it over the edge. The pulsing light looks to be about 30 feet down.
Roll like straight duty.
Eddie, do you want to go down with them, or should we check the captain's quarters?
Do I need an athletics
How
check
about,
to make
how
sure
about
I
you
hold
make
on
the
to the
decision,
rope?
Omni?
In a sec.
Now
As Jin and
like,
Gatharn are going are like falling
We're
down.
already,
I'm
like,
Well,
just
give
hearing
me.
that.
down.
Well,
Just
first
hearing
of all,
the back, "Ooh."
yeah, Gatharn, give me a sleight of hand. Let's see how well you secure the rope first. And Jin and Gatharn are currently securing it, while Medi and Omni kind of walk up to watch what they're doing. The four of you are
17.
there. You're watching as Gatharn is anchoring a section of the rope around a very heavy, fractured beam off to the side of the entrance.
17.
Okay. So who's going down first if you're going down?
Me.
Okay. Gatharn, are you... So, Gatharn, as you take the rope and you go over the edge to make your way down, the fractured edge entrance is all there is. The rest of you watch as Gatharn goes over and disappears. And that's where we're going to finish tonight.
He just jumped into the astral sea.
Geronimo! Hey, it's anchored to me. All right, so.
Oh,
I can
very
get pulled back up.
very poltergeist of you, Gatharn. Did you guys like my kind of homage to the Goonies? Big ship in the
Yes.
cavern lagoon and all
I've
that.
never seen
I
that movie.
didn't understand it because I've never seen it, but
Yeah.
Oh
same.
no! You gotta see it. It's so good.
I definitely caught the vibes that you're going for.
Yeah. I mean, I did mention the.
Isn't
whole
there that
line
one
with the
guy? Oh,
ship.
is that supposed to be Gatharn? Like the big misshapen dude?
You guys.
So Vince, you win the dice tonight.
Get out of here.
Yep,
No,
you-
roll again. Roll again.
All right, I'll try.
Give it to a.
Give it to one of our viewers.
Yeah.
I win.
Okay,
And
this
it's
seems like
not
it's
following
loaded.
this channel.
No, the
Excuse
problem
me?
is, so here's the problem I have,
You
right?
can't follow yourself.
No, I know. So here's the problem I have. So I've been trying to experiment with the Nightbot to do the giveaway, and I think I'm going to have to come up with a different way because so what I do
All
is
right, since I win, can I choose somebody to win the dice?
Yes, you may.
Let's give it, since he was the most active in he or she was the most active in chat. Chav Hunter 86.
Nice. Chav Hunter is in England. He will win the dice tonight, courtesy of our moderator, Jin. And that's the problem with the Nightbot giveaway it records the ability of an eligibility of someone to win based on the activity of chat. But I know if
Right.
you're watching a game for 3 hours, it's not always easy to be active in chat. So it's a challenge, but it is the fairest way to kind of do it. I did create a custom command for exclamation dice to encourage people to at least try and enter. But unfortunately, it is based on chat activity. So I definitely appreciate that. And I think Chav won one of our giveaways a few months ago. He won the Arcane Spell Tracker, which I
Nice.
believe he uses.
That's right.
Yeah, and I believe he uses those to help with his students. I believe he's a teacher. So I think that's really cool.
Sick.
So, all right, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us on Sunday night. Really appreciate it. Down below is everything you need to know about us. Come to our Discord. Vince, if you could throw our Discord up there, exclamation
I will.
Discord for me. Come to our Discord. Win dice every week.
or
We're
Shannon.
giving them away. Chav, I have your info, so I will send those dice off to you within the next couple of days. Unfortunately, I also know you're in England, so it may take a while to get to you. Other than that, take a look at our abouts. Go visit our family, Uncanny Pros, Dark Sun Creations, Ombligo, TGAC, is it TGAC?
General Adventuring Company.
The General Adventuring Company. Go check them out on YouTube. Lots of fun. And thank you, Initiative League, for rating. That was really cool of you. Go check out Initiative League. They're actually a pretty fun channel to watch as well. So for all those, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. I'm really, really sorry that Monday is tomorrow for a lot of you. I really do apologize for that. There's little I can do about it, but try to stay safe. Try to be kind to people. That's hard.
Amen.
And the
Yeah,
second
Katarn.
most difficult thing to do is take some time to play a game. I promise you it's worth it. Good night, everybody. Talk to you later.
Night.
He's
Alright.
a
Yeah.